All right, here we go. An evening run, kind of midnight, kind of evening. You know how it works. Hello, folks. Denobi2 here. Sorry, always scrambling to do a little bit of background research before I started this. Sent out a few invites. Not sure who's going to join, but if we get guests who decide to join us, great. If not, that's fine too. I think I can hold the interest long enough. Oh, that's right. Of course. Happy New Year. Hello, single songwriter. Hello, hello. Make sure my volume. I didn't even do an audio test. I hope I'm coming in. JB Collection. Hello. How are you? Thank you for joining. He came in with the new intro, new bangers. Hello, Emmanuel. Bringing in. Who do we have joining us? Look at this. Of course, Eric. Here we go. Start from the beginning. We'll see. Hello, Eastern 1 a.m. Hello, Will. Hello, Eric. Eric Heine, South Florida, checking in at 1 a.m. Happy New Year's. Very nice. Thank you, Young Squid. Bob, of course, 1 a.m. in the East Coast. I decided to do a little bit of midnight and kind of an evening run. I wanted to kind of reach out to most of you because this is 2022, the Undiscovered Country. There we go. Who else is joining in? Well, we got some folks joining in. Oh, who survived the first wave of the storm? All right, who's coming in? Collector, bringing in the hate. Oh, the Hatalorian. Can't have a show without the Hatalorian. Here we go. Australia, Dexter the Ragdoll Cat. Thank you for joining in. Singapore at 2 p.m. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to one and all. Miles Morales. Am I checking in? Here we go. Who do you got? Primetime Reviews. Hello. Happy Primetime Reviews. Happy New Year. Midnight in Austin, Texas. San Francisco, 10 p.m. New York. What do we got? New Year's Eve. Hate. Oh, Exotic Car Facts. We can't. I mean, we got to have the regular trolls on this. We got to do it. We got to do it. What is this? Which the Krennic? What's going on here? That Krennic has always been there. I'm telling you. No. Excellent channel. Oh, Rodrigo, thank you for joining. Hi, hello, Sean Smith. All right. Hope I was able to reach out to everybody here. It is January the 1st. The Undiscovered Country. That's all that kept going through my head. The Undiscovered Country. Going into 2022 as a toy collector and getting bombarded with the amount of good stuff. A lot of good stuff. What do we have here? Should we start off with Wonder Woman? Because she was just released, wasn't she? Wonder Woman is coming to the chopping block. Can't wait to see the show. Checking in from Sydney, 5 p.m. Hello, Ryan. Gonna save the stream for my night. Have a great stream. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you for joining. 10 a.m. in Dubai. Is it really 10 a.m. in Dubai? That'd be cool. Hello, Simon says hello from Canada. Are you in our time zone, West Pacific? Simon? What part of Canada? Yeah, I'd like to know. I'm kind of curious. Should we start off with Wonder Woman? Hot Toys dropped another Iron Man 1/4 scale. Better save that. Save your money. We'll talk about that. We'll definitely talk about that. And let's start off with Wonder Woman. Hot Toys just released finally, right after a 2-year, on Wonder Woman, the 1/6 scale based off of the Wonder Woman 1984. I was off today. Did not work today on a Saturday. I typically always work on a Saturday. And it seemed like it was a lot of mixed reactions when it came to Wonder Woman. And I didn't understand that because I didn't see anything wrong with Wonder Woman. Diana Stank. Now, why would you say that, Exotic Carfax? Are you just picking on it? Are you a Wonder Woman collector, or are you just joining the hate hype train? Because honestly, I didn't see anything wrong with the 1/6 scale Wonder Woman. I really didn't. I thought it was cool. I really did. I really did. There you go. Thank you, Simon. That's how you do it. So you're on that East Coast. You're on Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Hey, DeLorean, when it comes to collecting toys, when it comes, when a collector adds a figure, a toy, it's not necessarily that they would favor the actual IP that's attached to it. And sometimes, in some cases, they can look at the actual figure as a work of art. Wonder Woman best movie ever. It did have it. I mean, I don't. Did it have a? It did have its followers. It wasn't. It was plagued with a lot of problems. Was it a fun popcorn movie? Yeah, it was. But I still decided to move forward and pre-order the 1/6 scale Wonder Woman 84, both versions, the regular version to the film, and then the gold suited version. It's Wonder Woman. She is a legacy character from DC, and I've been down this road before. All right, I've been down this road before where I have supported a DC line of figures where down the road they're appreciated. Right, I have tons of examples and I have evidence. How many of you out there can say that you supported the Justice League, the whole line of Hot Toys? Right? When I supported that line at the time, this was the Justice League film was critically panned. It was the Josh Whedon. It was a train wreck. It was just it was not well received. Now, I did support the whole Justice League line, and I think I've made my intentions very clear why I supported that line, because I felt that I would never see those characters ever again in a 1/6 scale form. And that's in some cases you have to take that into consideration, where it's not about you so much are in love with the figure now, but you have to kind of future proof yourself. Does that make sense? Am I making sense on that? Where when I supported the Justice League, this was a film that was trashed. It was trashed by a lot of collectors. They all made fun of it. 4 or 5 years later, Hot Toys decided to issue an apology and release Cyborg. And what did that happen? It shifted the market. And then everybody then at this point felt that they needed to build the Justice League because of the Snyder Cut, blew people away. Now, I'm not saying that Wonder Woman 84 will evolve into a cult classic. It may. I don't think it will, though. But that's the game you play when you're collecting 1/6 scale high-end action figures. What do we have here? Did you get it? Yeah, I'm trying to use I'm trying to make sense. The Wonder Woman 84 figure here. Let's just bring it in here. I think I have it set up. So the Wonder Woman 84 figure. You can buy it as an art piece, or you can buy it because of your passion and love of the film. I was not a big fan of the film, but what I do love and what I do crave is shiny gold. I love the color of gold. And even though that this was a lackluster suit, it didn't really hold up. It's not so much of the performance in the film, but it is the presentation, because in some cases, it's all about the presentation. It's all about how is something like this with this type of wingspan, how is that going to look in my collection behind me? Is that going to be a showstopper piece? I mean, yeah, if you want to be that type of collector and it's like, well, the movie sucked, I'll give you that. The movie probably did, it wasn't well received. But what do you think of this figure? What do you think of this figure with that type of wingspan, with that type of presence? That's it's not all the time, but for this particular, because Wonder Woman is a legacy character, that's how I tend to see things. That's how I tend to see a lot of the figures that at this point in my collecting life that I started to look at things. Let's look at some quick No sense. I'll have to. What's going on here? I have the regular portion. She'll be one and only Wonder Woman collection. And then if you don't have Wonder Woman in your collection, this is be a great piece. You don't have to get this one. You can probably still get the regular one. Everybody is out there going to be. In fact, I want to say the regular version of Wonder Woman 84, that's the one that's on waitlist, right? I want to say that's on waitlist. So great. I mean, we can issue all the hate towards this one. That's fine. I always tend to see a little bit things differently. I have a Hot Toys license where I supported the Justice League, where a lot of individuals did not, and now they're backstepping. This is part of the ridiculous Hot Toys collected cycle. Sometimes when you support a figure, it may not be in your best interest at that point in time. Maybe down the road, it can potentially become something a little bit different. This is Hot Toys, folks. This is exactly what Hot Toys is.
If you want the ultimate, you gotta be willing to pay the ultimate price.
It just is. It just is. Again, the Justice League, perfect example. A lot of you ended up buying, and then the ones who did end up buying the Justice League ended up selling it because the whole tap out excuse was, well, they're not going to make a cyborg, and lo and behold, they're making a cyborg. So I did not see anything wrong with this as far as the head sculpt. I just didn't. To me, it's 100 times better than the Justice League Wonder Woman that was released during 2017. So to me, this looks better. The rooted hair does not bother me. It's exactly they advertise. Like I saw comments like, "Why is it rooted hair?" I'm like, "Well, they said it was going to be rooted hair." So I didn't understand these are blogger photos. I'm not trying to make excuses. I just look at things with a devil's advocate point of view. So it's just one of those situations. And if it's not for you, great. But as far as to criticize the facial sculpt, what I see is that this is a lot better, 100 times better than the Justice League Wonder Woman that I ended up getting with. So to me, there's nothing wrong with this. The suit looks great. The wingspan looks phenomenal. I just don't see anything. I just don't know. And it's crazy because I don't know if, because of the first wave of the storm that we've gotten as through collectors through December, I don't know if majority of us are making rash decisions with tap out excuses, meaning that they're getting overwhelmed. We are in 2022. There is still a ton of Hot Toy figures that should have been released at the last quarter, and it's not in our possessions. Pennywise, the dancing clown, was released in Hong Kong, but it's not going to ship from Sideshow probably until January, maybe even February. This is a figure that I day one pre-ordered back in 2019. I pre-ordered Pennywise, the dancing clown, in 2019, I think September of 2019. And it's these I hate to use the word mistake for Hot Toys, but the thing is that this is the world we live in now, past 2020, that a lot of us are making decisions now that will probably potentially affect the company moving forward into 2022. Meaning we're not going to be day one pre-ordering this stuff as we were before. I would never blink when I wanted something. I would just hit day one, boom, move it forward. It wasn't until the beginning of 2021 that I said, wait a minute, this shit is not adding up. When are they supposed to deliver the 30 to 40 plus figures that I've been pre-ordering? Well, everybody else, thought it was cute and fun to just collect pre-orders. I did not. That's when I started clutching my pearls. I'm like, how am I going to financially recover for this? This is not making any sense. It just isn't. Wonder Woman 84, this is a figure that should have been released last year in 2021. It should have been released in 2021. And when I mean released in 2021, I mean it should have been in my hands in 2021, being shipped from Sideshow. I don't know when I'm going to get this. I don't know when I'm going to get my Pennywise. I don't know when I'm going to get this Wonder Woman 84. I just don't know. And it's that uncertainty that has me, I slammed the brakes on my day one pre-orders. It's just plain and simple. Let me jump in on the comments here. What do we got here? I want to see the regular dish. Fun facts of Chinese viewers. Tutankhamun, King Tut. I do like gold. W needs to make. What do we have here from Sean? WB needs need to sell DC. They don't know how to make DC's movies all over the place. Well, we're not talking about films. We're talking about who's gonna grab our attention at our wallets here. Suit made 0 cents in the movie. I look at that figure and just reminds me how horrible it is. Then you know what? The Hadalorian. Then this Wonder Woman figure is not for you. It just isn't. If the movie it was that disappointing, which I understand it was for a lot of people, then this figure is not for you. But I wish majority of the collectors, when they judge a figure release, they would judge it as a figure and then not attach it to its existing IP to make the bias decision. So for example, if you really hated the film, then you're going to hate this figure and you think everything about this figure sucks and the sculpt and the rooted hair and everything is a train wreck. But if you like the film, like for example, Venom, everybody, the diehard Venom fans, they all defended that trash heap Venom figure that was released by Hot Toys, which I thought, to me, it just looked horrible. Exposed crotch joints, the existing peeling. It didn't look very flattering for what they were asking for that 400 plus sticker price. I judged that Venom figure as a standalone. I didn't care for the film, but I looked at that figure and I judged it for the reviews that I saw, the quality, the R&D that went into it, and what they were asking for. I've been in this game for quite a bit, and if you're a veteran collector and you're making decisions on certain figures and you're not segregating the actual figure from the actual IP, you're gonna stumble on certain occasions. I'll give you another example. Oh, sorry, I took myself out of that. I'll give you another example. The Ecto-1 behind me. The Ecto-1 that was affected by the performance of Ghostbusters 2016. Everybody took a big dump, including me. But I saw the Ecto-1, the Blitzway Ecto-1, as a standalone vehicle. I saw it for what it truly was. I saw it as a grail piece. Regardless of what the Ghostbusters IP at the time was, I saw the Ecto-1 as perfection, as Magneto would say. Show me the real. I'm messing up. I'm trashing that quote. The quote from X-Men. I want to. What the hell does he say? Somebody help me out on this quote. What is the quote from Magneto? Hold on, I'm going back in the comments. So first person that gets the damn quote gets 10 points. Now I'm having a brain fart here. But anyway, show me, perfection. The Magneto quote. And so that's how I've always looked at. That's how I've always looked at certain things. When I purchase something and it's going to enter my collection, it's going to hang around very long term. And how is it going to be in the future? How is it going to affect its future? No, it's not the chest pawns go first. It's not that one. It's the Magneto quote that he tells Mystique. Oh, Mystique. I want to see the real Mystique. I think I got the quote. I pull back my points. Show me the real Mystique. Perfection. The real Mystique. Perfection. So, hey, we're all over the place here because this is the Undiscovered. The whole point of the midnight of the evening run here is that we are entering 2022 and we don't know what to expect. I've jotted down some notes here, but we're going into 2022 blind. We are going into this year blind, And there's a lot of us in the community dishing out rumors, speculations, spells, incantations, potions, all sorts of good stuff. Do any of you remember when Blitzway teased us about this Afterlife merchandise that was supposed to debut in the month of December? Pepperidge Farms, remember? I remember. What happened? We're in January now, and did we get punked by Blitzway? What happened there? What happened there? What happened to all the comments I was getting on my Ecto 1 video? Oh, Denobi, you better sell your Ecto 1, Denobi. Denobi, you better sell your Ecto 1. They're going to re-release it, and you're not going to get the value. You're not going to get the value. You know? Oh, you know, I got my Ecto 1 video, the unboxing video I did. I was getting comments like that. You know, oh, you better, what are you going to do with your Ecto 1? Well, what am I going to do? I never had any intentions of ever selling my Ecto 1. I just, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't, like, I never, you know, and look what happened. We're in January. Blitzway, I guess, not promised, but they led us to believe that they were going to make Ghostbusters Afterlife merchandise announcements. And there's individuals on other streamers, I'm not going to mention their names, who made wild accusations and insider info and trading that we were going to get all this stuff. I got comments of people telling me I should sell my Ecto 1. Why would I do that? For profit? I do believe in the rules of acquisition, but I've been doing this for quite a while, and it doesn't work like that.
In chess, the pawns go first.
Oh, goodness. PJ, you want to join, PJ? I should bring you in. I don't know, PJ. Every time I hang out with you though, PJ, I'm always kind of hard on you, and then I feel bad. I do, because I know how much you love Star Wars. So I gotta shoot you. If you're bored, let me shoot PJ, because I always use PJ as a whipping goat here. I mean, where's PJ? PJ, where are you? Sorry, I'm holding it up here. Paradox, where are you? Can't find you. I thought I just had you on here. Sorry, I'm gonna shoot PJ here a lesson. I mean, not a lesson. That's horrible. An invite, folks. An invite. I'm gonna shoot him an invite. Oh, you're in bed? That's okay though. That's okay. If you're bored, you can still hang in. You can still full house in the chat. Let's go. Please join. That's okay. We're not gonna bully anybody. If he wants to hang out, he does, and I'm not gonna keep him here all late. Tutankhamun, yes, Blitzway doesn't really reissue. I never expected Blitzway to reissue the Ecto 1. What I was going to encourage them and root for, and as busy as I am, I still want them, and I'm hoping that Blitzway will make the 1/6 scale Afterlife vehicle with the gunner seat. I would absolutely find the space in my collection to bring in the Ecto 1. I would. No, hands down, I would. The Valley sellers don't collect for the same reasons as others. No need to do a fire sale when you love your collection. True. Now, I do make certain investments outside of Hot Toys to help fund my collection. I've always done that. I don't sell my Hot Toys as often as I used to, say 5 years ago. The problem is with me is that the regret. I've sold certain figures and I tend to regret. So I tend to just make outside investments on there and so forth. Oh, who is the pawn? Somebody who is the pawn?
Hi, Denobi.
Do you have your sheets pulled up to your bed? Are you tucked in? Is that?
Yeah, I am tucked in. That's why I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, I'll join, but I can't turn
That's
on my
okay.
camera.
That's
I'm
okay.
naked.
That's fine. You can come in and you can go. I did catch your appearance on the Collector's War or Collection Zone or
Collection Wars.
Collection Wars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those guys always bring a unique perspective when it comes to what they love. And who is it Star Killer? Star Killer. What is this?
That's I forgot his name.
Star Killer
I'm drawing
77. Is he Lee? Is that his name, Lee?
Oh yeah, there's Lee. Yeah.
Okay, is that his name? He's the one with the big collection, right?
Yeah. Well, they all have big collections,
But
and
But I'm talking a huge collection. It's him, right?
oh yeah, I think that's Lee.
Okay, it is Lee. Okay, he was making me laugh. I was running around doing some chores, and I was laughing my head off because he is an old school Star Wars lover, and I was listening to him tell me, or not tell me, but share his experience about how he loves the actor Jeremy Bullock, and he was just trashing the current Boba Fett. Who's the actor?
Tamora Morrison.
Tamora Morrison. And he was making me laugh because he was essentially calling Tamora Morrison fat. He says, Jeremy Bullock is a small little man. He falls into the Sarlacc pit, and then, continuity, and then he comes out 200 pounds. And that's what he said. And I just started laughing.
Yeah.
I go,
and you know what, like I said in the stream, is that I totally appreciate everyone's perspective on who, on Star Wars in general, like what their what their universe, Star Wars universe, is to them. And like him, he's a big OG guy.
yes.
So that's why, like, a lot of the new stuff, like, he has a hard time dealing with, especially if, like, they're not consistent with the continuity. Like he said, like, Boba Fett was skinny when he went to the Sarlacc pit, and then he's a little bit heavier when he gets out. So, and some collectors, a lot of fans are oversee these things, but some fans can't, which is totally understandable.
I'm like that. I've been an original continuity cop on that. I've said that. So when I heard him say that, I go, oh, I like this dude. This is why I listen to him, because he's part of that first, faction of purists. And I believe in some of his ideals. Like, yes, Boba Fett is not he said 200, and like, yeah, he's not. It doesn't line up. Like I don't mind the height issue. So Jeremy Bullock is shorter than Tamora Morrison. I can look past the height, but the body proportion and the weight situation, that bugs the hell out of me. It honestly bugs the hell out of me. So when I heard him talk about it and how much it bugged him, and everybody else tends to turn a blind eye, I just started laughing. Because I'm like, shoot, I've been saying that. I go, it doesn't line up. Like, if Tamora Morrison was given an opportunity to re-enter this role, you're telling me Disney couldn't have given him a trainer to buff him up?
Yeah, which is true.
Actors do that all the time. I mean, that's standard Hollywood 101, that if you gain a few pounds over the summer, the studio hires a trainer and so forth. How many times have we seen Chris Hemsworth, with the dad bod, and then the minute he starts filming for the next Thor, he's super buff. That's normal. So I just, and I know it sounds very what's the word? It sounds like we're splitting hairs, but
yeah,
these are expensive action figures. This world, these aren't $20 action figures that we're collecting. This isn't. You're spending X amount of money to represent your passion, your love for this existing, branch of the IP. And I don't know how else to be nice about it. And I did hear you, PJ. I know you're always out there, trying to fight the good fight and so forth. And I always enjoy you know how you always go out of your way to defend Star Wars. I
Well,
know. I,
well, yeah. Well, here's the thing too, is that like I totally, like I said, like I always say to everyone, is that like I totally understand where everyone's coming from. You know, I appreciate everyone's view on Star Wars, whether it be you're a hardcore purist to the okay, I just watch, you know, Star Wars once in a while, right? I totally understand your view and everyone's views, but at the same time, is that like where can we meet in the middle? And that's the thing. Where can we just say, you know what, I could overlook that the Tamora Morrison is not as skinny as Jeremy Bulloch in The Return of the Jedi in terms of continuity,
okay.
you know, stuff like that.
Okay.
And
So how many free passes should us fans give the show? Because there's a ton of, I mean, we're not talking, hey, let's overlook the body proportion situation. There's a ton. I mean, it almost felt the last several days listening to streams and today, it seems
yeah,
it seems like everybody's just been writing off excuses. PJ, be
well,
honest. It sounds like everybody's just been writing, well, let's excuse this. That's Max Rebo. No, Max Rebo died. Well, he got away, and when the camera was looking the other way. No, bullshit. Max Rebo band blew up with the sail barge.
well,
He knew it.
I mean, that looks like Max Rebo, right? But is it
Well,
really Max Rebo? Or
yeah,
is it?
I don't think it is. What I'm willing to believe, because if we're going to issue out excuse passes, right, to go to the bathroom down the hallway, if we're going to issue hallway passes here, I will assume that that's part of the alien species of the Max Rebo that we know of from Jabba's
Yeah.
court, because Max Rebo was seen inside the sail barge when that, and you saw him when
Yeah.
R2D2 was serving drinks. Remember, he bumps into C-3PO. Max
Mhm.
Rebo is on there with Droops McCool. The only one that we did not see was Size Snoodles. So if anything, it should have been Size Snoodles inside that casino setup. Should not have been Max Rebo, because it was Droops McCool and it was Max Rebo. And it sounds like we're nitpicking. At least it sounds like I'm nitpicking, but you have to.
Yeah.
This is that you invite, when you do something like this, you invite chaos. You invite
Yeah.
the religious fanatics, Star Wars fans like us, that we're all segregated. You know that. We all don't all like the same factions of Star Wars. It's always been like that. I've always said that.
Yeah. So for me, I've always liked before the sequels, I've always liked everything that Star Wars has given me, right? Like because back then we rarely got anything. We'll get the trilogy of movies, and we'll get some like one-off cartoon or whatever, like series or something like that, but never to this point where we're getting all this like content. So the only time and I hate to say it, and it, like always hurts me to say it, is that the only time I disliked Star Wars was The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. Those were the only content put out by Star Wars, Lucasfilms, Disney that I dislike. So coming from there, anything's better than that. Anything what I went through with those things, seeing my beloved Luke Skywalker be you know be treated the way he was treated in the last in the sequel trilogy, this is better. Like I mean, like granted, it's a little slow, and expectations was, oh my gosh, expectations for this show was at all-time high. Kenobi's even has a bigger expectation, especially when they're
My
telling us that Vader is
Yeah.
coming back.
I
So
know you were excited, PJ, because I do follow you and so forth.
mhm,
My expectations were not high. My expectations, believe it or not, were very mediocre. I was not expecting a lot from this show. I've
mhm,
said this on Geeking Out, and I've said this several shows. I was very cautiously optimistic because here's how we in the community, we all expected lightning to strike twice in such a
mhm,
short amount of span. The history of spin-off TV shows, the percentage of its survival is actually very low. There's actually several YouTube videos you can research. The Book of Boba Fett is a spin-off show. It's a spin-off show that is designed to stretch a story arc on a throwaway, disposable character. Right? George Lucas said it from the very beginning. And the early, Boba Fett. He never had any plans of Boba Fett going past the Sarlacc pit. Plain and simple. So now we're taking a character that the fans love Boba Fett. Well, George, the fans love Boba Fett because you kept jamming him into the special editions and then you wrote him into the prequels and you had him bounce all over the place. So this is where we're at right now. This is where we're at.
Yeah. Well, which actually, yeah, you're absolutely right, Denobi. Boba Fett was never meant to be this big. And the way he wrote Boba Fett was just supposed to be some random bounty hunter that you totally forgot. But what made Boba Fett special is that armor. That's what made him so popular. Was that armor that just really captured everyone's eye. And if it wasn't for the helmet, I think Boba Fett wouldn't be who he is now. He would have been just like a throwaway character, just like Dengar or Forlom and the rest of those bounty hunters. But yeah, no, the bounty that helmet alone single-handedly brought Boba Fett to life. And with that being said, I knew a lot of people had big expectations for Boba Fett, especially when you put Favreau and Filoni's name on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I had expectations. I think it's going to be good. I don't think it's going to be phenomenal. I have higher expectations with Kenobi, just because with the Book of Boba, you didn't know who was coming back. There were speculations. Oh, this one might come back. This one might be there. Oh, you might see Cad Bane, but they're all speculations. What's confirmed in the Kenobi show is that you're going to get Sith Inquisitors. You're going to get Vader. You're going to get Vader. You're going to get all these characters that's coming back on that show confirmed.
That's great.
That's why that one has some bigger expectations.
I have more expectations for the Kenobi show, but before we get to the Kenobi show, we got to ride this train to Nowheresville to get to the Kenobi show, and that's the situation right now. It's great that everybody's optimistic about the future and all these shows and all these future shows that have been announced. None of that is set in stone. I mean, everything is based on current real time information, reactions, views, and so forth. I don't want to. I mean, I don't want to go too deep. I think I made my clear.
Of course,
the show was just plagued with tons of problems, and like excuses like this, like HK. Like, to be fair, the dude is like 60, he's not getting any younger. So then you ask the question: should he have been recast with a different actor? Because the fights were poor. The constant, he looked like a train wreck on the show. Temuera Morrison, as much as we love him, he was a mess. He was just a big hot mess. The fight scenes were poor. Everything about it was just one big joke. Crawling out of the Sarlacc pit, getting robbed by the Jawas. It was just like, what's going on here? Why are we doing this? So this show affects us in the community as Star Wars collectors, right? Because a lot of us I hope people have been listening to me. Folks need to stop day one pre-ordering this nonsense, because now, if this show is a train wreck, right? Nothing is set in stone. I'm telling you, even Marvel has its train wreck shows. Cough, cough, Hawkeye, right? So no show is ever immune from criticism or just bad performance. So now it'll second guess everybody. It's like, well, shoot, I thought the Book of Boba Fett was going to be the cat's meow, and I pre-ordered all this stuff, and Boba Fett is running back to his ventilator on his asthma pump because he can't deal with shield ninjas, and he's lifting his, you're like, what's going on? Because as as earlier in the on the stream, right? You know, the Hatalorian, one of the comments here, he pointed out, you know, his distaste for Wonder Woman 84. Hence, he then brought that negativity to the Wonder Woman figure. So that's what happens. That's the short-sightedness of collectors, where we look at something, and if the IP doesn't perform, well, I don't like the so forth. It happened to the Justice League figures. Hell, I got. Are you kidding, Denobi? I canceled all my pre-orders once Josh Whedon just, and everybody's scrambling because you see what I'm saying. So
Yeah,
it affects.
it does, and
Yeah.
no, I totally agree. I think, you know, we pre-order or we buy things based off emotions and
Hmm.
how that figure or that character makes us feel. So yeah, Wonder Woman 84, that's a great looking. I mean, let's just say, let's base it off just the trailers alone, right? Like, you see that trailer and you see that golden armor and you're like, wow, that's beautiful. And then Hot Toys announces the pre-order, you're like, oh, I want it. And then you watch the movie and you're like, what the f is that? Like, you know,
Yeah.
and
It's
that's a shame too, right? And
it is a shame. I
that's why I don't they want pre-order, like you said.
don't get one pre-order. If the show is phenomenal, wow, like Tamora Morrison really I have to get the figure, you know.
Hmm.
I think one of the biggest mistakes too is that, you know, everybody's trying to compare it to the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian is a complete anomaly. It's just because it's a brand new character. Us old, collector veteran farts like me, we didn't come in with a pre-existent judgment. Like, oh, who's this cat over here? Look at him strut inside the bar. Look at him, gunslinger. Look at this. Like, it was completely new. We didn't know what to expect. A very fun, adventurous, simple story. The problem with Boba Fett is that he has. Oh, looks like we lost PJ, but that's okay. The problem with the book of Boba Fett is that he has an existing story, and we've brought that existing story. Sorry, I figured bad connection, but I didn't go too far, PJ. It's
Yeah.
big difference is that we have an expectation of Boba Fett based off the expanded universe and
Oh yeah.
prequel film, so forth. But the Mandalorian, we don't. That's why I was always very cautiously optimistic about the show. I'm like, I don't know how they're going to pull this show off. I just do not understand how they're going to be able to get away with this. The
Yeah, I
Kenobi
mean,
show, Kenobi's different. People are trying to compare it. I wouldn't even come close to that one yet. We need a little bit more data on that one.
yeah, I think Kenobi's, you're just connecting the dots, right? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, you could say that about Book of Boba, but you know, you're trying to connect the dots with a bigger timeline. You know, meaning like it's from the original trilogy all the way to the sequel trilogy, and what you mean that's with Kenobi, you're connecting the you're piecing the puzzle with the main character, which is Vader and Luke Skywalker. You know,
Mhm.
so with Boba, it's just you're just trying to figure out what the underworld and how the whole underworld universe looks in Star Wars, right?
Mhm.
Um, and maybe they're trying to piece it with the Mandalorian, right? Um, I think at the end of the day, at the end of the show, I just think that Boba is going to go through a whole lot of hardships and trying to figure out things about being the ruler of the cartel. I mean, the Hut cartel and the underworld. So,
Hey, I'm all
and
for
that's
that.
it. But that's basically
I'm
it.
all for that. That's what I wanted to see. That's what I
Yeah,
wanted to see. I wanted to see him under new management taking over. That's what I wanted to see. Um,
yeah.
going. We're gonna segue away from the Book of Boba here.
Actually,
So,
really quick, Denobi,
all right.
you're getting it right.
Yes,
I
yes.
think that
Pennywise the
figure
Dancing
is
Clown.
phenomenal.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those one-offs. I've had people reach out to me and they've asked me, "Do you think it's going to sell out?" And I don't know. All I know is that Pennywise the Dancing Clown was pre 2020, and it was a
Hmm.
different time of collecting in 2019. It was very different. We
Hmm.
weren't exposed to the whole situation of 2020. Collectors weren't, given all this stimulus money, right? It
Yeah.
was very, so it's very, I mean, we're not going to know if Pennywise is a chase figure until Sideshow starts to ship it.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Can I
go
say,
ahead.
I think it's going to, I mean, I don't know how fast the It's figure will sell out, but I think there is a huge market for horror fans, horror figures. And this is probably the best It figure that you can get, or Pennywise, should I say. And there's going to be a lot of horror collectors out there that's just picking this figure up. It may not be like your regular Hot Toys figures collect. There's a lot of like casual, I guess, 1/6 figure collectors that are horror fans that is
Mhm.
gonna pick this up, in my opinion.
It's for me, it was a day one pre-order, but again, like I had mentioned before, and so is that it was a different time of collecting.
Oh
In
yeah.
2019, Hot Toys, they were on schedule. The most you would wait would be about a year ish, some cases
Mhm.
under a year for releases. So it was Penny, like I said, it's 2019. I'm going into 2022, and I mean, I'm in 2022 and I don't have Pennywise the Dancing Clown. It's this uncertainty that has, changed the fundamentals of collecting these figures here. These are
Yeah.
expensive figures. There's no way in hell now I can day one pre-order any of this thing. There's been way too much spontaneous. Anything I have exists. I mean, like I said, I still have the Mark 85 from
Yeah.
2019 on pre-order. I still have Pennywise. I guess I could cancel it, but I don't. I want to move on, collect those, and add them to my collection, and then tackle the whole situation here with Star Wars. I don't have as much concern with the Marvel line as I do with the Star Wars line. The Star
Yeah.
Wars line is the one that um, hasn't been adding up, where collectors will say they'll support something, and then why are these certain characters or figures still sitting on the sideshow shelves? It just doesn't it doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
um you know where we have other streamers will make excuses. Well, so and so, like the armor just came out. Well, the armor was released in Hong Kong in August of last year, and she's sitting
Mhm.
on the shelves. I
Yeah.
keep track of all that, and I know you are too.
Oh
Um,
yeah. I'm wondering how long that armor is gonna stay on the shelves for.
I why haven't we gotten any other pre-order releases from the Book of Boba or Spider-Man? Was what I wonder. That's part of the theme of the live stream tonight is the whole Undiscovered Country. We're in 2022.
Mhm.
They haven't announced anything new on the Spider-Man No Way Home, the billion-dollar film. We don't have any of the villains yet. The Book of Boba, the only thing we've gotten is Fennec Shan, which technically she was actually already teased before the debut of the show.
Yeah.
As we go into the episodes of Book of Boba Fett, the performance of these episodes are going to then affect the collectors, because we're most of us are short sighted. PJ, we just are. We tend to buy with our heart, think with our hearts, and then when you get to if the Book of Boba is a dud, do you think that'll affect the Boba Fett deluxe version that's supposed to be out in January, which I thought was going to drop in December actually?
Yeah, I thought so too, because didn't Sideshow give everyone like a early notice that it was gonna ship early? That, I mean, from what I've seen through people's like posts on Facebook, but
Mhm.
um if the
I
Book of Boba is a dud at the end of this series, I just think there's going to be a lot more collectors picking up the Boba Fett on the throne rather than the 2-pack. Because
Mm.
I mean, the 2-pack is cool, but the Boba Fett on the throne, you're still getting the portrait, that portrait that's on the deluxe version, but you're getting the cooler Boba, the iconic scene where he sits on the throne before the Book of Boba show. You know what I'm saying? So
So wait, are you saying that collectors may be more inclined to go for the throne and pass on this one? It is more affordable though. It is the lesser of the two evils. Where is he?
Yeah, and plus you're getting the portrait too. So
Yeah.
and you could pair that up with your Fennec Shand and just have that display. I mean, uh, like we're getting. I don't know. We're getting to the point where if you're not a Boba Fett fan, if you're not a huge Boba Fett fan, and you're not as you can forgive certain things on the show because you are a big Boba Fett fan, like myself.
Mhm.
Which one would you pick out of all these Boba Fett figures? Like which is the ideal Boba Fett figure for you and your collection?
Which one
Is
would
it
you
the
get?
new armor? Is it the 2-pack with the acidic version, the battle damage acidic version, or is it going to be the clean version that's sitting on the throne?
Yeah.
I think people are going to go for the throne piece because that's Boba Fett on the throne.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a display, it's a prop, it's a diorama, it's part of Jabba's palace. That's the one that I'm gonna end up probably getting. Yeah. Yeah. It's the
Yeah,
one with the throne. It's gonna be it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it looks cool in your collection.
And
So,
it'll look cool in the collection. Yeah. I mean, that's
but
honestly
I'm not sure about this new Boba Fett figure. If I mean, the new Boba Fett armor. If how many people are going to pre-order it?
so he at the beginning of the show, he is wearing different armor
Mhm.
than what was seen at the end of season 2 of Mandalorian, right? That armor is different, correct?
Yeah, that is that is
Okay.
different.
It's like LED, and there was a couple paint highlights, and I noticed it. I didn't. Honestly, I've only seen the episode once, and I was watching it for the story. That was my
Yeah,
main concern. I was.
the boots are different too. So
Oh, okay. So, do you think they're gonna? Well, they may wait. I mean, they haven't announced anything. It's Hot Toys works Monday through Friday, so if
yeah,
anything, if anything gets announced, it'll be tomorrow night, which they run a day ahead of us out there.
I
So
I think I think they're going to release the 2-pack first, and then they're going to drop the pre-order for the Book of
I
Boba Fett figure
I can't
because
believe.
then
Yeah,
you have 3 Boba Fett figures that's going to be on pre-order.
yeah. I they should have worked 24/7. They should have gotten that 2-pack out in
Oh
December,
yeah.
because if the next episode is a dud, it that's how it works. That's how this stuff works. These aren't $20, $25 Black Series or Marvel Legends, where
Mhm.
most action figure toy collectors are like, I'll get it, just add it in my collection. Oh no, if the show's a dud, it absolutely affects a $500 a purchase. Absolutely, it does. Um,
Well, I know you do. One thing I love about you, Denobi, is that you actually do the math for everything. You add the shipping, you add the tax. So the 2-pack, we're close to like what 550 shipped with tax and everything, and then the Boba Fett on a throne, which is like close to 400. That's like what, let's say 450.
it's with tax. Yeah.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
tax and
Don't sugarcoat
shipping.
it. I never like it when it's only 350. Like, no, it'll be foreign change once you add some tax and some shipping.
And
Uh,
then all right, and then say like they release the Book of Boba Fett figure. So you're talking about like close to $1,400 in Boba Fett figures.
mm,
Um, Now if you're just a casual Boba Fett fan, or you don't love Boba Fett as much as like the biggest Boba Fett collector or fan out there, are you willing to shell out like $1,500 or $1,400 on all Boba Fett figures, or do you have to pick one?
especially if the show's a dud. I don't know.
Especially if the show's it does, yeah.
Especially if the show's a dud. I mean, that is the. I just didn't think it would be this controversial. I just don't get it. I mean, the highlight of the show, PJ, was the dialogue of Boba Fett sitting on the throne, and accepting the tributes from all like the house party and from the house factions and the families. To me, that dialogue is probably the best dialogue in the show. Everything else, with him being dragged by the bantha for 2 minutes, with him crawling out of the Sarlacc pit, just getting robbed by Jawas, all of that was just useless filler. And for a pilot episode, I was shocked that was approved. I'm just like, really?
You know what?
30 minutes at 32, because it's it wasn't even a full 38 or 39 minutes. It just like, really, that's what was greenlit. This
I just think that
episode?
I just think that maybe like I think I agreed with when I was on the live stream in Collection Wars. I agreed with Gabe where they might have picked the wrong director for this
Robert
episode.
Rodriguez. Yeah,
I think Robert Rodriguez is more of like an action type of director, where it's like that's why when he did that episode where they were in Tython and Boba Fett got his armor for the first time in a while and kicked everyone's butt. That's Robert Rodriguez. That's his style. So for him to be the director for the first episode might have, maybe he was out of his element. That's why you felt like kind of like, okay, you're back and forth. Again, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I like the episode, but I do understand where you're coming from and where a lot of people who are fans of Boba Fett are coming from in terms of why, like, not understanding why the first episode turned out the way it was, especially if it's the first episode. Like you mentioned before, you gotta capture the audience initially with the first episode, and then everything else you could put like a filler episode in the middle.
Filler episodes are always, at least maybe the earliest, episode 2 or 3 or 4. I don't mind that episode should have just come a little bit. Hell, WandaVision had filler episodes. Loki had a filler. They all do, but you don't start off like that with a bang. You just don't do that.
Well, at least not with Boba, right? Like, what I'm saying? Like, I totally understand that. Like, at least not with Boba, where he's the one of the most feared bounty hunters in the galaxy, and he's like being portrayed differently in the first episode.
Especially, like I said, I mean, it's all been excuses all week, but at least stick with the continuity errors, with the whole where he's taken on a whole battalion of stormtroopers, but yet we get to the pilot episode of this and he can barely hold his own self against shield ninjas, and then he's rushed back to his crib and put on a ventilator. It just doesn't like what happened here. What I mean, he was doing somersaults with like a bantha stick, and season 2, and then here he's like he's out of breath, like he needs his asthma pump, and you're just like what's this, like what? And I'm not even criticizing some of the special effects, because I know other people in YouTube land have been going aggressive on the special effects. I don't care. I'm not going to judge it. Oh, some of the effects look poor. The one night scene look rough. I can overlook all that. The only thing I'm critiquing is the writing. That's if the writing is good, I don't care about the special effects, because I understand how it works on streaming services, and it's not going to be the same amount of budget or so forth. But it was just a story. It was just a story. That's all it is. And moving forward, it affects the existence. I've never, look, I'll say it one more time. I love Star Wars. I just don't trust Star Wars.
Yeah.
This, we've already seen the examples of a lot of the Star Wars releases go into peg warmer status, and you know what, that also applies to Marvel too. It's just plain and simple. We're now entering this weird anomalous situation where there's just a ton of hot toy figures that should have been released. And I get it, 2020 was a crappy year, but this is what's happening now.
Well, I was going to ask you, did you watch that the Howard Chan like little like video that he put out?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts? Because I felt like from what I got out of it, he was just saying Marvel and Star Wars. We're
Yeah.
gonna be bombarded with Marvel and Star Wars stuff.
It's the brand new Hot Toys. I said this earlier. Like this Hot Toys, I don't recognize. This is a Hot Toys that is going out of their way. They're doing weird stuff. Like they're listening to the collectors. They clearly either have new management or they have new board members. This is not the secretive, closed society Hot Toys, before 2020. This Hot Toys is making they're making an effort to reach out to somewhat stay connected to kind of like apology tour. That's how I saw Cyborg, where they announced it. We listened to you guys, and they clearly made the announcement that, look, we're going to do Cyborg. We listened to you guys, and to me, when I saw that, it was throwing a stone, knocking multiple birds. Where at that point, majority of the statue companies were already making a killing on all the Snyder Cut statues, and they're like, we also have the license to Justice League. We should release something. And they didn't go all the way, and they did I think the only thing they released was the at the time during the Tentpole event was the 2-pack of Superman and Batman, the nightmare version of Batman. Well, everybody else around them was doing circles and cartwheels, taking advantage of the Snyder Cut hype train.
Yeah.
And, and they need to work on that. They need to fix that. They need to stay within the Tentpole line, meaning you know what that means, right? Does the audience know when I'm referring to Tentpole? When I say I should probably ask the audience. Hold on. Do you know what that means, PJ? You can say no if you don't know what I mean.
No, I actually don't.
Okay. So Tentpole is a metaphor that's used in Hollywood, right? Tentpole is that at the top of a tent, of a circus tent, right, is the pinnacle of striking while the iron is hot, right? So typically, the top of the Tentpole is the movie release day, and so as you get closer to the event, you start to climb to the Tentpole up all the way to the top. And at the very end is that's like for Spider-Man No Way Home, it was that weekend box office $1 billion, whatever it took. That was the height of the Tentpole. Now we're going down the bottom of the Tentpole. So that's what that means. Meaning you strike while the iron is hot at the very top of the Tentpole of the circus tent. You don't wait till you get to the bottom of the tent to strike. That's what Hot Toys did with Cyborg. And everybody was like, really?
Hot Toys tends to do that all the time. Actually,
they tend to do that. They tend to do that all the time, but on certain occasions, they tend to surprise us, like releasing Fennec Shan before the Book of Boba.
Yeah, I agree.
That's considered strike. That's considered striking at that's at the top of the Tentpole. The top of the Tentpole for the Book of Boba is it's that Wednesday, and they kicked that into pre-order before that. So they did that right. They did that very, very right. So that
yeah, and there's quite a few things that you're right. Like, striking while the iron's hot. What happened to announcing some of these like villains? Are they going to make them at this point?
I don't know.
For Spider-Man No Way Home.
That's the whole point of the video. I'm terrified. This is the Undiscovered Country 2022, and like, what can I expect? Because majority of my collection is Hot Toys, but I do tend to collect outside of Hot Toys, as do you. You collect statues and some other collectible pieces outside of Hot Toys. You don't just collect Hot Toys. So it's the unknown that has me worried. I don't know what to expect going into 2022.
Yeah. I mean, if Hot Toys doesn't release any villains, they must not like money. They must not like money, or they have too much money and they don't care,
or they're overwhelmed,
or that too. Yeah,
actually,
you're right. You're right.
They're stretching themselves thin. They're overwhelmed. I doubt that they don't like money, but again, I mean, just my current up-to-date list here, 37 total unreleased in the USA right here. 37. This is just Star Wars on my list right here, on my Storm Tracker. This is 37 that now I still have the Mandalorian quarter scale on my list because he hasn't shipped from the US sideshow. So when it arrives, when it starts to ship, then I'll tend to delete it. But they love money. I started saying this the last couple of months. I'm like, I think they're stretching themselves. Then they're making the President Loki. They're doing the Sylvie. They got Wanda.
Yeah, actually,
they got
now that
Vision.
you're saying all these things, because I didn't know what you meant by spreading themselves thin. I thought they didn't have enough like workers to.
Well, if you have let's say a team of 30 employees, and the team of 30 employees is used to working on 20 pre-order figures, and now you've given them 60 to 70.
Yeah, that's what
I think that's what it is. I think it's
I mean, now the more I talk to you about it, like now I understand what you mean. Like, because now, because we never got these many shows back then. Like Denobi, like 4 or 5, was it 5, 6 years ago? How many like Star Wars stuff did we get in terms of content? Like 0. Like, okay, we got the sequel trilogy. Those are 3 movies. You know, how many shows are we getting, and how many Marvel shows are we getting on top of the movies that's slated to release? So, yeah, you're right. On top of that, DC is, stepping up their game with some of these movies, like the Batman. That's coming out in, was it March?
Yeah, it is in March. Look at this comment from Kaiju
there's
Daddy.
a lot of stuff.
It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff. Look at this comment from Kaiju Daddy. He posted a comment that I find very interesting. I don't know if you can read it or not if you're on the phone, but he posted, "No Way Home hasn't released in China and Japan yet." That's concerning, meaning that's a very good reason why they haven't announced it yet.
Yeah, maybe for spoiler reasons, because there's a lot of big stuff that's happened in that movie.
Yeah. I mean, you're not. I mean, that
when is that supposed to release over there?
I don't know, but you know what? They could be using this as a tentpole event. That right there would be an example of Hot Toys doing the tentpole event. So it may not be about us in the US. We could be the drop on the bucket, PJ. And I've said this before.
Yeah,
the real market, it's probably in the Asian sector here. That's why they probably haven't announced it yet. They're gonna, while everybody in China or Japan or whatever, they get to see it out there. But I was under the impression that Spider-Man No Way Home wasn't allowed to be shown in China. So I don't know how that's going to play out.
Yeah, but I was going to say is that, like, no, I totally understand what you're saying now, because, I mean, does Hot Toys have enough room to do other IPs? I know they announced the Matrix for, figures that they want to make.
Oh, they're not making that. I hope they don't make that.
I hope. Did you watch it?
No, I will not.
Oh,
no,
I've
just seen reviews of it, and people just told me just avoid it.
Don't, like, seriously.
Yeah.
Just avoid it. Like, if you love Terminator, you stop at Terminator 2.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If you love Matrix,
I was warned. I was warned about it, and I don't. It just something that just didn't really jump out at me as far as the whole Matrix situation. And I mean, that's the consensus. Matrix 4 was. I mean, that's what it is.
Not bringing back. What's the name? Something Weaving. Hugo Weaving.
Hugo Weaving. Yeah. Well, it was done on a budget. Yeah, it was done on a budget. Yeah, it was just a big mistake. It was just done, and people said it looked cheap, and just a big mistake. Comment to James here really quick. James, I mentioned it early in the stream. I think the fans got punked by Blitzway when it came to the Ghostbusters stuff. Plain and simple. They made an announcement on social media, on the Blitzway official social media channel, that they were going to announce merchandise based on the Ghostbusters Afterlife. It's now January, and no announcement, no nothing. The only thing we got was heavy rumored speculative theories from other YouTubers. I was expecting to ride the Ghostbusters bandwagon with like an Ecto-1, but nothing. So maybe it's a blessing in disguise, James, because
Mhm.
I joke about the whole storm in December and Christmas, but I don't think we're out of this yet because there's still a lot of stuff that I thought was going to ship and charge in December, and now it looks like we're going to take our drama into 2022. Not to mention that I don't want to say what's happening around the world. I don't want the video to get strike, but the whole variant situation now, which is affecting labor around the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, so production and labor could very well be affecting parts of China, slowing things down even further. I'm
But
not pre-ordering anything to 2 years anymore. I'm done with that crap, PJ.
yeah,
I'm
me
just,
too.
I'm
I
just
was gonna
done.
say, like, you're absolutely right with the labor stuff because I had a super Walmart near me. I think it made national news that it shut down and 90 employees were sick, and it's the reason why it got shut down.
Yeah.
90. That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot. We still have so on top of the stuff, my old ass pre-orders like the Mark 85 and
Mhm.
Pennywise, then we still have just the regular scheduled drops from Star Wars, Anakin Clone Wars, Anakin on the Staff. There's just so much stuff. There's just it's very overwhelming. And for those that survived the first attack in December, I just think it's going to get worse. I just think the next couple of months, it's going to be brutal. I think it's going to be very, very brutal. Um,
Yeah, and you know what? I miss those good old days where the storms were just tropical, like tropical rain,
it's
and
just yeah, and it would show up, and it would be very sporadic, and it's just I don't I
yeah, that's
have
those
no
were the
idea what
days
to do
where
with it.
I used to be able to collect different types of IPs and not worried about being
Mhm.
bombarded with one certain
Yeah.
IP.
The
But
comment here, I don't know if you can read this comment if you have the screen. The comment from Negan X Army with Back to the Future. It's that is what also I find very disturbing because I love Back to the Future, and with this situation with production and shipments and the
mhm.
whole situation in Long Island, I mean in California, the ports, they could and the whole labor shortage in China too. They could be throttling making more Back to the Future announcements, and I'm like, that's a shame. That's a big shame because they teased 1/6 scale DeLorean, the Mark III with the white wall wheels, and I honestly thought that by December we would have gotten an announcement on that, and we don't. I don't know. I don't think you collect Back to the Future, do you?
No,
Okay.
no, I don't.
Yeah.
I wanted to when I first got into collecting, especially the DeLorean. That was just coming out when I first got into collecting. And actually, I know you mentioned it earlier too, Denobi, about someone people were telling you to sell your Ecto One.
Yeah.
Don't do it, dude. Like,
Yeah.
what are you gonna sell it, and then you're gonna wait how many years to get another
That's what
Ecto
I'm
One?
saying. Yeah, so that I can cash in on the profit. I always knew that I'd have the Ecto One for a very long time, and I always also assumed that I would never see it again. I would never. I mean,
Oh yeah.
meaning Blitzwood would never would issue it in because I actually suspect and theorize that they may have taken a loss on it or maybe just broken even on it. I just don't see it. But the comment to James, yes, there is one more Back to the Future event, which is in February. And I got my fingers crossed, and I'm hoping that maybe Hot Toys will announce something in February regarding Back to the Future. Because again, I don't just collect um, Marvel. My collection actually spans multiple IPs, and I do have favorites. I do have favorites in the DC world.
Mhm.
I'm still collecting most of the Star Wars Hot Toy figures, but I didn't pre-order any of them. I'm just going to wait for them to either sit discounted or get them from Hong Kong sellers who's going to give me the best price. I'm in no hurry for it
Yeah,
because
same.
going into January, if Lando is still sitting there,
Mhm.
it, it's I mean, here, let me pull it up here.
I still can't believe Lando is sitting. That
I
is
can't.
crazy.
It's
I am-
bonkers. It's
But this is the OG character that's sitting. Like you
it's
got
crazy.
to be kidding me.
It's crazy.
And
So
it's priced at was it $235, which is basically the last time you're gonna get a Hot Toys figure for that price range. Because most of those figures, most Hot Toys figures are $275 and up now.
Yes. You're never gonna get that price. So I went on Sideshow. I just typed in the word Hot Toys, and then you can actually adjust it. We're just arrived, meaning it's in stock, it's ready to ship.
Yeah.
So the Tusken Raiders just started to ship. I want to say the U.S. collectors are going to start getting it this week, or maybe they've gotten it already. I want to say they'll start getting either tomorrow or Tuesday. What's going on? Comment from Sean Smith. Zenobi, I got the Pennywise at $245 at Hong Kong. Well, that's good. It wasn't that much from through Sideshow though. But
how much is it retail through Sideshow?
It's like $267 in 2019. Yeah, it's one of the lower. But Captain Marvel, the Flash. I know
those things are going to sit forever.
They're going to sit. Captain Marvel's going to sit forever. The quarter scale of the child. Captain America, I'm going to get, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to get the 2012 version, but I'm in no hurry. The Marvel stuff is going to stink for a very long time. I just know it. It just the whole hype train of Endgame. It's now 3 years, in our rearview mirror right now, and it's just not.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, now we moved on to the next phase or whatever, next saga, and why would people collect the old now if you're moving on to the new? And especially with Spider-Man kicking off like the new saga or phase, and you're gonna get a whole bunch of figures from that movie, which is basically the end game of Spider-Man. Like, you mean like the end game version of for Spider-Man. So
Back to the Future. Look at Marty McFly sitting there. He's been he's still on pre-order, which is weird because I got mine almost 2 months ago. I don't know why Marty McFly and Einstein is still sitting there. Everybody raved and jumped for joy for Back to the Future to make a comeback, and it just could be just a multitude of things. I just think it's overwhelming. I just think there's just way too many figures to collect with this type of sticker price. Iron Patriot breaking $500 with shipping and tax. The Stormtroopers. This guy here, Fat Thor. I don't even know why they made him. I said that was like, no. I don't understand why they made a Fat Thor. I really, honestly.
Well, I think they wanted to like complete the trio, but yeah, I don't know why they made Professor Hulk.
Huh? Professor Hulk was another waste. I don't know why they made them. He's going to be there for quite a while. The Neon Tech suits, the 4.0. I mean, this is it right there. Look at that.
Do you think? Okay, and like you said, like earlier, right? This is good. Everything happening now is going to shape Hot Toys in the future.
Yes.
Do you think that there is so much stuff coming out, so much with the streaming service, with the movies, with HBO Max, Disney Plus, Netflix? Do you think that there's so much stuff at some point Hot Toys is going to say, you know what, guys, we can't make it all, or we can't make that much. We're losing too much money. We're going to actually start putting edition sizes on these figures, whether it be 30,000, 10,000. What do you think? Do you think it's a good idea, or should?
That's gonna. So are you assuming that it should get discounted more? I'm a little bit confused.
No, like edition sizes, like meaning like, okay, well, let's say we put out the new Iron Man figure, right? This new quarter scale Iron Man, and we're gonna go with this new business model where we're gonna go with, depending on how many pre-orders are out there, with not only with Sideshow, but with whatever happens in Hong Kong, right?
Yeah.
they're gonna do that almost like a made to order. Say there's only like 5,000 that pre-order it.
It could.
Then they could make an
Mhm.
extra maybe 2,000 or 3,000
They
just for
need to
extra,
start doing that. They need to. I get you what you mean. They need
and
to
then like they
either
make an
switch.
addition size.
Yeah, they either need to switch to a Kickstarter type formula
Yeah.
or announce edition numbers. Their whole business model of being secretive and stuff like that, it's clearly not working,
I
right?
agree.
The
I
evidence
agree.
is right. The evidence is right in front of us. Clearly not working.
Mhm.
Comment to James here really quick. It's why do they go back to the Dark Knight to make the tumbler and the bat pod and all that? To
Mhm.
me, if they can barely keep up and commit to their existing orders, I honestly feel that they should not have gone back and made those and have those pre-orders go into pre-order. We don't
Yeah.
need another tumbler right now. We don't need a bat pod. I get it, for customers who didn't, but this can in the long run hurt them because it throttles their delivery. It's throttling their production. It's throttling their labor. If there's another wacky variant that shows up in the next 3 months, it can throttle everything down the conveyor belt line. And
Mhm.
this is something that, like Howard Chan in the video, like they're trying to, reach out and thank us and so forth. Forget about the thanking us and reaching out to us on Instagram or Facebook. I go, Howard Chan needs to put on the apron, right? The labor worker's apron, and he probably needs to get on that conveyor line too and help them out, right?
You trying to say is that, oh, take off that special edition
Yeah.
Columbia Boba Fett jacket and put on
Uh-huh.
me.
I saw that. Yes, I saw that. Yeah, because other companies, like I know, Raising Cane's, the chicken place, or is it KFC, where they had all the board members fly from their corporate office and help them out on the ground because there was a labor shortage. So
Yeah,
that's what they
it's
need to
gonna be a
do.
big
That's what they need to do because it's gonna bite them in the long run. And if what I was told was true, where they needed government assistance to stay afloat in the middle of 2020, they need to either adapt, change, or evolve, or they're gonna
Wait,
fall
oh,
and they're gonna
Hot Toys?
crash.
They did?
Huh?
Hot Toys, they asked for government assistance?
Yes, a lot of the retail establishments in Hong Kong received government assistance, and that's where I learned.
Wow.
That's where I learned that Hot Toys is not one company, but it's two separate entities. The stuff was shared with me. So
Oh,
um,
can you share more? Like, is it two separate entities? Like, there's
it's like Hot Toys LLC and then Hot Toys headquarters blah 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 something. It's like two symbiotic. It's really weird. I didn't know that, but apparently everybody in Hong Kong knows. Like, yeah, it works like a main corporate office or marketing or something like that. They're like two. It's like a brain, but with two halves. But they're two separate entities. It's really weird the way I saw the paperwork that was shared with me.
Oh wow. So
hmm.
that's interesting. So they got government. Yeah, because
But PJ, but to be
Yeah.
fair though, a lot of the retail establishments in Hong Kong did get government assistance
Yeah,
to stay
that's true.
afloat.
That's true.
Yeah. But the point is that they needed help because they do sell a luxury item. So going forward, and like you said, they need to, like, for example, like the Loki, presidential Loki that was announced with a small batch, like they announced an actual number, which we never here in the US were able to pre-order it. Like, to me, I found that more enticing. Oh, you mean
Yeah.
there's a number? Yeah, people were making fun of the light box and the T-shirt, whatever. It does not matter. It's an addition, and they need to um, uh, move forward with that type of ideal to ensure us collectors, confidence, right? It's about making us, I'm not buying the Hot Toys to outsell for flip. I just want to make sure that if I drop $469 for Iron Man Patriot, that I don't log on to KG Hobby or Line Rock Toys or GN Toys and it's discounted by $1.50.
Yeah.
That's when I lose my shit. That's when I
Yeah.
have
Well,
a problem.
that's the
You know?
and trust me, I lost my my
Yeah,
shit
yeah.
a
So
couple
when I
times.
see that, I want to go to Hong Kong and knock on Howard Chan's door and
If this body is not capable of action, I suggest new leadership is needed.
Plain and simple. Plain and simple.
Oh
That's
my
it.
God.
That's it. You know?
Yeah.
That's
And-
plain and simple.
And that's the thing too, because if you think about it, if you start putting edition sizes on these figures, right?
Mhm.
Maybe you won't see a Captain Marvel sit for forever. And on top of that, you'll encourage more non-collectors to just pick up this stuff. Just to, you know what I'm saying? It's just like it just creates like a nice ecosystem. I always say like, okay,
Yeah.
PJ, what the hell is that your ecosystem? Was it feeding fish, whatever? No, it's just like where, like, for example, the sneaker world, right? The sneaker world has a great ecosystem, right? There's like people that buy, they get their shoes, and then if it sells out, the value of that shoe goes up in value. You feel cool, and just it's a nice ecosystem. But then with this ecosystem here, where you just pump it out, pre-orders,
Yeah.
and like you said, like you pre-order a figure, and then next thing you know, as soon as you get it, it goes down in value just because some reseller in Hong Kong
Yeah.
is selling for like much cheaper now. How
Yeah.
about that rescue armor? For the
Oh my
people that
God.
day one pre-ordered the rescue armor.
Isn't
And then
isn't that atrocious that you can get it for $300 with free shipping and no tax
yes,
on
that is
online raw toys?
atrocious.
It's
Because then
yeah, and it's not about for the audience that's listening, it's not about me and PJ. Oh, we're flipping. It gives us that lack of confidence that tells us I should not have day one pre-ordered it. Why am I going to day one pre-order this if I can wait and get a better deal so that I can get my collection to grow? That's what me and PJ are talking about. To focus, it's not about reselling. That's not what we're talking about. Go ahead, PJ. Sorry, I put that in there.
No, I was gonna say, I totally agree with you, man. Because $20, losing $20 is easier to swallow than losing out on 100 and how much is that rescue armor?
Rescue armor was
$407.
407. Was 407 at retail plus shipping and tax if you got it through Sideshow.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Yeah. Yeah. But yet we still have Aquaman. We still have Thanos still sitting ready to ship. We still have Negative Suit Spidey. We got the Mark 43 reissue. And then we have these reissues that this is bonkers. We just have a lot of stuff here that should not be, like the Mark 50. Why is that still in stock? Like,
yeah,
it's stupid. They must have made a ton of Thanos. They must have. It's Leia Organa. Why is she still in waitlist? Just sell her out, discount her, get rid of her. I don't get that. I don't understand.
and I can't believe Infinity War Thanos is still available. That baffles me.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Like the Spider-Man black and gold suit, which isn't even screen accurate. From Spider-Man No Way Home. It's crazy. I just don't get it. So I don't think they're interested. Who posted the comment? Are they in trouble? I just think it's the comment from Negan here is I don't know if they're in serious trouble anymore. I think they're all over the place right now. I think they're a ship spinning out of control. Denobi did comment from Sean. Denobi did the Dark Knight going to lose the rights. That's why they did it. Just because you could, it doesn't mean that they should have done that. If that was the case, if they don't want to give up the license, because it just throttles the conveyor belt system. Nobody needs another damn tumbler. The first tumbler was okay. It was mediocre. I had it, you know.
Oh, you sold it, or you still have it?
I had it couldn't roll on the floor like a Hot Wheels toy. It was cumbersome. It took up a lot of real estate. It horizontally took up. So at the time, I didn't have my module cases. At the time, I had DTOF, so I couldn't put the damn thing anywhere. You can't put the tumbler on top of a DTOF. So I had like a poker table. I had like a workbench where I would sit on it. It was it couldn't roll. it wasn't all that, PJ. It didn't light
Yeah.
up as cool as what I thought it should. It was it was lackluster. It was not a disappointment. It was lackluster, and I can see for the time, for 2012, it was okay. But as I got collecting older, and then when I got to the DeLorean and so forth, I go it started to be outdated. Same thing too for the Batman '89 vehicle. That right now, if they just reissued it right now, and for folks who've always drooled and dreamed about it, they would be very disappointed with it if they got their hands on it, because they only want it and they only drool over it because it is a grail piece now. But the minute, once everybody is special, then no one is, right? From The Incredibles, right? That's what happened to the Mark 47. Remember the Mark 47 breaking 1,500 to $2,000. Once Sideshow, once Hot Toys released it, re-released it, a true reissue, it's you can still get it in the bargain bin now. No one cares.
I think people were selling for $250 in the aftermarket.
Once everybody's special and no one is,
that what baffles me about that figure was that what made it $1,500? It's just a repaint of the 46.
Because it was a small batch. That's how it's always worked. And it was a small batch, and it's to me, I bought it because I thought it was an attractive suit, the whole gunmetal, and at the time I was just collecting.
Well, you're an Iron Man collector.
Yeah, and I'm an Iron Man collector, and so I had it, and when it blew up, and then now you can get it at the bargain. You can get it at retail, below retail. So when I saw the whole situation with the Dark Knight, and let's reissue Catwoman, let's reissue Christopher Nolan's Batman in quarter scale, let's reissue, and I go, really, collectors? You guys are all gonna commit. You Batman, and I love Batman. I got Batman behind me. You guys, I got Batman behind me. You Batman collectors are gonna commit to this on the eve of the brand new The Batman with the Twilight
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, the Robert Pattinson. You guys are gonna commit to pre-ordering the old ass Dark Knight on the eve, on the coming of the Robert Pattinson Batman, which they keep releasing trailers, and I gotta tell you something, it looks good. It looks very, very good. And Batman, the thing with Batman, you have to be sold on the film. It doesn't matter about the reviews, doesn't matter what the director and all the actors and the press junket. If you see it and you love it, you're gonna buy the merch. That's how Batman works. That's how it works. So I don't understand the whole going back to the whole Dark Knight situation.
Yeah, I was gonna say too is that they had a couple of screenings of it already. The first one was just more of an uncut version of it, and people were going crazy over it. And then they released a shorter version, and people were still going crazy over the Batman and praising how great it was. So it almost is getting that type of hype as the Joker did when it first got shown to as a screener. So I think this movie is going to be really, really good. I think it's a different type of Batman that we're used to seeing. This is supposed to be taking place around year one of Batman, of Bruce Wayne being Batman.
That's what it is, and we don't know it. We just remember when people were making fun of the Dark Knight back in 2008 because they didn't.
Heath Ledger,
and then we all walked out reborn again. This comment, remember that?
Yeah.
So, James, I'm gonna spank you. I'm gonna slap you, James, because this is Hot Toys went back to the Dark Knight because it was their moneymaker before Iron Man. James, it was a different time back then. That's all we had, right? James, I was there. I lived it. I went through all that whole period situation. I'm telling you, I was there.
I was there, Gandalf. I was there 3,000 years ago.
I lived it all. I'm telling you. All right. That was a different time back then.
Yeah. I mean, because back then, how many IPs did you have?
It was what, 3? Iron Man. I mean, remember the Dark Knight came out in 2008.
Yeah.
So we had the
Well,
Dark Knight. We had the first Iron Man film. And at the time they were I think Hot Toys was still making like the Predator nonsense at the time.
Yeah.
And Pirates of the Caribbean. And they were going into accepting pre-orders for the Terminator Salvation. They had a whole line.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of superhero movies, The Dark Knight was the only one. Okay, Iron Man. Some may argue that Iron Man was, but damn, The Dark Knight was basically the Marvel back then, right?
Some would even argue that Marvel is still the shit. It's just semi-dormant right now, or at least we in the US would like to think that it's not. But truth be told, when they make announcements like this Iron Man quarter scale, right? It doesn't matter what us little peons here in the US think. Iron Man will and always make them money. The Iron Man for quarter scale it looks like a masterpiece. I mean, it looks good. It's pretty damn impressive, and it's going to come with an impressive sticker price of probably $1,000.
They haven't announced the sticker price for this yet, right?
No, but they've announced the Hong Kong price, which I was able to get my hands on, and I did the conversion, and it comes at 1,000 or breaks 1,000, depending if you use 25% or 30%.
Wow.
So I was shared the Hong Kong price, and we here in the US, we can joke about it, we can talk about it, but Iron Man makes money. This is the Mark IV Gantry, and it's no secret that Hot Toys has gone back to Iron Man 2. And we tend to make fun of Iron Man 2. I still defend Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2, that film, is what seeded me into collecting Hot Toys. It's the one that I didn't pull the trigger till 2012, but when I would go to San Diego Comic-Con and I would see the Sideshow booth set up with all these wonderful toys, all these high-end figures, I was getting jealous because I was there, and I owned the 1/6 scale. I still have the 1/6 scale Iron Man 4, the Gantry set. And because I had several people asking me about if I was going to get this, and I don't need the Gantry, but I definitely am interested in picking up the quarter scale Mark IV, because I just got the Mark III quarter scale, and I'm in love with it. It's a beautiful suit, and so I'm not going to go too deep into it, but the best explanation is that the Gantry, the 1/6 scale Gantry, was cumbersome for me. It took up a lot of space. You couldn't fit it inside a DTOF. The 1/6 scale Gantry, I ran into the same issues like the Tumbler at the time, because all I had was DTOFs. And I remember, because I had my Gantry on top of a DTOF, it got dirty. I guess out here in the desert, I have air filters in my collection in my room now. At the time, I didn't. I have a very advanced air filtration system in my room. At the time, I didn't have the money. I was just an idiot. And the Gantry got dirty really quick. And it's not something that you can use a feather duster. You can't use like a blowgun. It aged pretty quick. Oh, and it was also one of my first semi-blunders, exposing it to a portion of sunlight. So a couple of my Gantry arms did slight fade in. I can see it, but that was my amateuristic collecting ways. I mean, I was a year one collector. This is the Gantry when I bought it in 2012. Actually, I bought mine in 2013, but it was released in 2012. It had a sticker price of $500, PJ. I don't know if you knew that or not. The 1/6 scale Gantry was not cheap. It was $500 when it went into pre-order. It took up a lot of space. It was a pain in the butt to set up. The little magnetic strips didn't stick properly. So when I tell somebody like I don't care for a quarter scale gantry, no effing way I'm going to devote a whole module case block to this gantry. Not when I have resentment for the first. Because remember, PJ, remember.
I was there, Gandalf. I was there 3,000 years ago.
I love that. I was there, damn it. I was there. I lived it all. People don't forget, but it's awesome. I mean, look at this thing.
It's awesome, but like you said, this takes up a lot of real estate.
It takes up a lot of real estate. I'll find a home for the Mark IV, but the gantry will not. Will definitely not.
Well, with them doing the quarter scale version of this, is giving me hope that they're going to make a Mark 46 quarter scale at some point.
A Mark 46 quarters?
Yeah.
Ooh, Civil War, yeah. They've never done that, right? They've never done a Civil War Mark 46.
No, they never did the Civil War version in quarter scale. They did the Mark 45 quarter scale.
Stupid. Yeah, I passed on that. Yeah, I didn't.
You didn't get that? I thought it was okay.
I only have one quarter scale Iron Man, and it's the Mark III, and it took a lot to justify that purchase.
Because they made it Mark 43, right?
Yes.
Well, they reissued that one.
One of them it got reissued. It was the Mark 42 from Iron Man 3. Is the reissue?
Oh, 42. Yeah.
Yes. So,
which is the most boring version. But
which is the most boring version, yeah. But if they are going down this road of making the Legendary 7 in quarter scale, I would be open to that idea.
Oh, how about the Marks? Is it Mark 7?
Yes.
If they make that in quarter scale, count me in.
Or even how about the Mark 1? The first.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah? So if they're going down this dark side path, I might be inclined to follow them. Yeah, I really am, because I'm very interested in. I know they teased a Mark II in one comic book show in San Diego Comic-Con. I think it was 2019. I think it was 2019, the year before.
Yeah, I think so too. I remember that.
They probably backed out of it because 2020 was a disaster for them. So
quarter scale Mark 1. Oh
yeah,
I'll be on it like white on rice, man. Mm-hmm. With the USB powered like they're doing with the 6 scale version, count me in.
Mm-hmm. So the villains in the Batman. Oh, the Hatalorian is back at it again. The villains Batman. They look horrible. So you are judging the Batman without actually seeing it. What if the Batman turns out to be a phenomenal hit? It most likely would persuade you to pick up, because the villains do look like a joke, but you have to sell me. Remember what I said? You gotta sell me on the story. You gotta sell me in the story.
I love the Riddler in this. Okay, I know I haven't watched the movie.
Well, I love the actor.
I love the actor. Yeah,
the actor. He was in There Is No Blood, and he's just a phenomenal actor. I can't think of his name. Dano something. Or somebody.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm a fan, because you know why I'm a fan? Because they base this version of the Riddler off the Zodiac Killer. Because remember, the Zodiac Killer was leaving them messages, right? And all these crypto like things to decipher.
Yep.
So this is what they're basing this Riddler, who, by the way, was always campy in all the other like movies and cartoon, right? Like if you think about it, look, who was the last Riddler we saw on the screen?
Jim Carrey.
Thank you.
Batman Forever.
And how goofy was he in that? And now we get this maniacal, like this crazy Riddler.
I'm open to it. I'm not. I mean, Batman's been done so many times, so I can sympathize with the criticism that this film would be getting before its release. And all the drama that's leaked out from the onto the public about Robert Pattinson being a diva and all that nonsense, and he doesn't
Yeah.
want and all. So I get it. I also remember the amount of drama that Shang-Chi got before its release.
Oh yeah.
So playing devil's advocate here, I've learned not to judge until I
How about Heath Ledger? How much drama he got
yeah
playing
So,
Joker?
I'm open-minded. I'll give it this exact I'll give it the
I
exact same path
remember. Do
that
you
I've
remember
done with
that?
everything else. Mhm.
Remember that, Denobi, when Heath Ledger first got casted as Joker?
Yep. I
And
remember that. Early
they
days
were
of the internet too. Yeah, I remember that.
They were comparing him to Jack Nicholson. Oh, he'll never
Yep.
live up to Jack. Jack is the all-time great. He's
Yeah.
crazy. He's crazy in real life. Heath Ledger, he's a pretty boy. He's normal. How is he going to be the Joker? Boom.
Mhm.
He dropped the mic on everybody.
He sure did.
He got swallowed by that role to the point where it killed him. It literally killed him because he locked himself in a room reading, and laughing to himself and trying to perfect that laugh in a hotel room to the point where he couldn't sleep at night after he was done being Joker. And that's why he took those pills to put him to sleep at night, and he overdosed on it.
God.
Crazy, right?
Crazy.
So, but yet, you know what I'm saying? Like, trust me, he got the same amount of hate Robert Pattinson got playing Batman. So we shall see.
Let's do a little bit of class here, and I'm going to test you on this question, PJ.
Sure.
Single songwriter sent in a question. He goes, at Denobi and at Paradox Nerd, is the original Mark IV 1/6 scale with Gantry diecast, or was it plastic like the first few Iron Man figure? Do you know how to answer this? Or
yeah, I think the Gantry's plastic. The Iron Man figure is diecast.
Okay,
right?
Yes and no.
Oh.
So yes and no. So you're right, but no. So the original 1/6 scale Iron Man went into pre-order with the Gantry in 2011.
Oh, the original one. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So
not the last one.
They were both plastic. Then a couple years ago, when they released the Mark IV with a brand new body diecast, which is the 2.0, they decided to reissue the Mark IV diecast with the Gantry as a set. But what happened is that the Mark IV diecast, the 2.0, is slightly taller, and so there was a bit of misalignment that you had to tweak. Because remember, the Gantry was exact same Gantry.
I remember.
So not to confuse the audience, but 2011, we had the 1/6 scale Mark IV Gantry. Then a couple years later, a few years ago, I want to say 2018, when the Mark IV diecast was released, the 2.0, they decided to just reissue the Gantry, the exact existing Gantry with it as a set for $635 or $650. Now, this quarter scale here is all plastic, right? We know that because if it's a diecast a piece from Hot Toys, they always let the audience know with the insignia at the bottom of the photo. So when you look at this photo here, it tells you Hot Toys, it tells you quarter scale, and so forth. So if I was to remove that and then go to a different, let's say to an actual page, let's say the Mark One, let's use the Mark One, right? And then you look at the bottom of the actual photo, you see the diecast insignia at the bottom. So for year one collectors or just collectors starting out, that's how you would know if an Iron Man has metal components or if it's just all strictly plastic. Yeah. Little bit of class there.
I was thinking about the last most recent Gantry release. I totally forgot about the first one.
Marcus, you get the 10 points for Paul Dano. I was hoping somebody would answer that.
Yeah,
I knew
Paul
it was
Dano.
Paul Dano. He plays the Riddler. So thank you.
Yeah.
Let There Be Blood. Creepy movie. Yeah. Good movie.
I'm excited. I'm telling you, that's the next movie I'm really excited for is the Batman. I mean, we see Colin Farrell playing the Penguin, which I thought was a weird cast. But then I saw like some clips of him and I'm like, okay, I like it. I like it. And what's her name playing Catwoman? Zoe, oh my gosh, what's her name? Denobi?
Krennic's no, not Krennic.
Zoe Kravitz.
Kravitz, yeah. Zoe Kravitz, yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect casting.
Yeah. I think we're gonna get all 4 of them. I don't know when. At the way Hot Toys is operating, it'll be years. But I think we're gonna get all 4 of them. Batman has always been a good moneymaker for Hot Toys. We'll get the Robert Pattinson Batman. We'll get Catwoman. We'll probably get Penguin, and we'll get the Riddler. So, yeah, I think we'll get all 4 of them.
I think so too.
I do. I honestly think we'll get all 4 of them. I think we're going to get all 4 of them. Batman sells. Batman has always sold for Hot Toys.
Do you think? Do you think if this movie does well, will we get the Batmobile from this movie?
It would be easier to manufacture, right? Let's think about it. Would the R&D be more or less than the Justice League Batmobile? You have to wonder.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what you have to look at. I'm all about 1/6 scale vehicles. When you have a vehicle in 1/6 scale in your collection, it creates an atmosphere. It just transcends your collection, PJ. It just does.
Yeah, I agree.
It takes your collection to the next level. So I would say after like the Blitzway Ecto 1, I mean, any 1/6 scale vehicle, if it's made from Hot Toys, if it's made from Blitzway, as long as moving forward, as long as it's licensed, I'm probably going to be a customer. Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
For me, I wish that Hot Toys would do more Star Wars vehicles because I would be on it. If they did that Jedi Starfighter that they teased in San Diego Comic-Con, I would still buy it.
I've going just using the Starfighter scenario, that Jedi Starfighter that was teased in 2019. That was before the end of the world, by the way. And well, and I say that because I strongly believe now, from what I've read and what I've been shared, is that was not a flex move. They were intending on releasing that Jedi Starfighter.
Oh, don't tell me that.
Yeah, but remember, it was teased in 2019. 2020 happened, and they needed help. So what did they do after they took out the loan? They started reissuing their heavy hitters. They started reissuing all their Iron Man heavy hitter plastics. Remember?
That makes sense.
Because remember, I've said this on Geeking Out. I've said this on several streams. It does not matter what us little US collectors think about Iron Man. We joke, we make fun. Oh, who's gonna buy a rainbow colored neon tech? It doesn't effing matter what we think. Iron Man sells worldwide. Plain and
Spider-Man
simple.
sells worldwide, right?
I want to believe Spider-Man does, but I'm more confident. I'm willing to put money down that Iron Man is still the foundation. It's still the biblical foundation of the meaning of Hot Toys. Like if you were to define the definition of Hot Toys, in the Iron definition, it would say Iron Man and Tony Stark.
Yeah, that's true. That's
true.
And
then below that would be Batman, and then all the other tchotchke like Predators and all the wacky
Spider-Man.
Yeah,
really?
I want to believe Spider-Man. I really do. I'm not seeing that level of pizzazz from Spider-Man. They're just not selling as fast as Iron Man is. that's why I'm just hesitant about, like,
That's
I
a
do
great
believe
point, though.
I do believe look, I
That's a
do
great
believe
point.
that they make money on Spider-Man, but they also make money on Batman too. So is Spider-Man on the same level as Batman? I was, well, why not? Why isn't? But when it came to fundraising after they took out their, again, this is speculation. This is the paperwork that was shared with me, that they needed government assistance to stay afloat. They, after, at the end of 2020, they went and they ran. They didn't even crawl. They did somersaults, reissuing some of their saving grace um, characters, like the Mark 42. They went back and they just started reissuing like some of the
Dark
old,
Knight.
because they, like Iron Man, because they knew that when they're in trouble, who do they run? They didn't run back to Spider-Man. They didn't run back to Batman. They didn't run back to Alien or Predators. When they needed help and they needed to fundraise, to raise capital, because remember, in Asia they collect 50% of the deposit. You know that,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
When in doubt, when in trouble, you're not going to run towards Batman. You're not going to run towards Spider-Man. You're going to run towards what you know is going to save your hide. And they ran towards Iron Man. Plain and simple. They ran like all the way. And everything else, comes in second fiddles. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't want to see Hot Toys go away. Can you imagine if Hot Toys went away and we ended up with just Sideshow collectibles and their tchotchke nonsense and people settling for the Sideshow collectibles C3PO? Folks, if I was on Facebook, I would post my thoughts and prayers that you have to settle for a Sideshow collectibles C3PO, because nobody out there in Toyland has the balls to make a diecast C3PO other than Tamashii Nations that was over a decade ago. I mean, it's just it is what it is.
And yeah, I was gonna say, if Hot Toys is in big trouble, they should reissue the Mark 46.
I don't think they're in trouble anymore, but they're definitely scrambling now. And if they're not careful, they crawled out of the well. They can still fall back into it. Again, we're not out of this. I don't want to say the.
Oh my gosh, look at those figures.
Yeah, we're not out of the forest yet. I don't want to say the P word. I don't want the video to, but when in, like, for example, Iron Strange, like, I made fun of this, and I give credit to PJ. I'm not PJ. Nate. Like, they worship Iron Man out in Asia. Like, doesn't matter what we think, Oh, it's a kit bash. Sure, it's a kit bash. It's a what if, Strange in a suit, whatever. Or it's a concept art. Actually, this is the concept art, because this was in the art book that I have. At one point, in a deleted concept art, Strange was supposed to grab the suit, was supposed to get the nanotech, which we ended up seeing anyway in the Spider-Man No Way Home film, right? Where the nanoparticles, at will can take over other electrical gear and all that stuff. God, I want my dog hawk.
I know. Well, I was going to say
hawk.
Is that I just feel like with this one, I think they probably made too many Mark 50 bodies, so that's why they reused it for that figure, and they did the neon tech.
I mean, at the time, Avengers Infinity War, I mean, these are billion-dollar properties, and I get it. Most people started, saturating the market because they lost their jobs in 2020 or whatever. And it was tough times for most Americans or most people around the world. And what are you going to sell? You're going to sell the one suit that you're probably not going to like. And the Mark 50 got the short end of the stick. And that's why the Mark 50 will probably never sell out. Probably, and I don't know, I don't even know when this thing will ever sell out. But it's never going to be a profit maker if people are assuming that. But
Yeah.
when you look at when you just search Hot Toys Iron Man, like the Mark V suit up version here, you know, that looks awesome. I'm buying that. Are you kidding?
Yeah, that
I
looks
love
good.
I just looks phenomenal. I'm buying. I didn't pre-order, but that's coming home. You know, that's absolutely.
I'm still shocked that Hulkbuster's still there.
If it wasn't for 2020, I honestly would believe that the Hulkbuster would be sell out, would be gone. It would be in wait list or completely sold out. 100%. But again, the whole situation with and again, we're not even out of the variant yet. I mean, we're not even out of the forest yet. But look at this right here. We were just, speak of the devil. Everybody wanted the Mark 47, and it's still sitting here collecting dust. It's still sitting there collecting dust. And you know how to PJ, you know how to test to see if an inventory is low on Sideshow. Do you know the trick?
No, actually. I mean, before it used to be the last last chance
All right.
items.
All right. So I'm going to hold a class because I typically will try to teach this trick. Okay. So for example, let's use, I need example. Okay. So for, what can I use?
Use the armor.
Okay. Let's use this one here. So let's use the Mark 47, right? So I'm going to add it to the cart, right? And if it lets me go up to 6, that means they are sitting on a crap load. And right there, that means that their batch is starting to dwindle because I can only add 4. Can you see that? So I can only add 4. So now I'm going to go ahead. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. I'm going to hit the back page here and see if I can. Oh, did I go too far? Maybe I went too far.
Try a different figure now.
Yeah. So when you do a different figure, here we go. Hold on. Maybe I went too far.
Mando Deluxe is probably a good example.
So for the 47, I can only add 4. And then if I go to the Midas, how many can I add? So then I add the Midas to the cart. How many of the Midas can I add? I can only add 1. You see that? Ooh. So the Midas is they probably have maybe 50, 25 units left. And then, so that tells me that the Midas is eventually, probably pretty soon, it's going to go into wait status. So now let's use this trick on the Mark 50.
You can add 20.
And when you go to the Mark 50, when you click on the Mark 50, let's go ahead and add it to the cart. How many of the Mark 50s can I buy? Oh, it's going down to 3. So it's not as much. So this tells me that the Mark 50, it's probably not going to happen for probably the next 6 months, I'm thinking, because nobody right now wants a Mark 50, but it's a small bat. I mean, you can tell you can only add 3. The Midas, you can only add 1. You see that right there? So yeah. These are the, like, if you ever want to know, or anybody that's watching, is how many can you add in your cart? So let's try it on a different one now. And this works, by the way, with Star Wars figures too. Let's use the the rescue suit, Pepper Potts, the one that's heavily discounted everywhere. How many of the rescue Pepper Potts can I add? I can add 6. They got a crap load of the rescues sitting there. You see that?
Yeah.
So that's a little trick there. You can add up to 6 rescues. So that tells me that the rescue is not going to sell out anytime soon.
Well, I was going to ask you, so wasn't the Mark 50 like not a reissue, but didn't they like do another batch after it was? It
was a re-release on the existing pre-order. So they never actually closed the existing pre-order. The existing pre-order went into wait status, and then they did another batch. They did this for Captain America, because remember in 2019. Avengers Infinity War was the cat's meow. It was phenomenal. This is what you had to look forward to.
Yep.
Everybody was, I mean, it was like the celebration of it was like the Ewoks dancing, you're holding your hands, in the forest moon of Endor, because Infinity War was phenomenal. It wasn't until 2020 that you weren't allowed to think about your toys anymore. You had to think about your family, your job, you know, if you were going to survive. Right? So
Single songwriters asking if you could try it on Lando, that trick on Lando.
oh, you know, let's go. Let's try the trick on Lando.
That's actually a good figure to try it on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to see, because I'm still baffled.
Yeah.
That
Hot Toys Lando.
And you know, and Hot Toys collectors are always wondering, how come Hot Toys never makes these figures for? Well, because you
Look at that.
It's
Oh my God! Look at that. That's you can buy up to 6 Landos right now.
Oh my gosh, what's
Yeah.
wrong with people?
That's cancels right there. This is what I was. This is why I started. That right there tells me cancellations. There's no reason an original legacy character like Lando should be. I mean, they're probably sitting on hundreds of these in their warehouse.
Yeah, that is just baffling. Like I said, and I'm not trying to enable people to get
No,
this figure.
we're not either. But I definitely did see the chemistry and the attitude change at the height right when the storm started, and people were like, "Well, I'm not going to be able because this stuff is starting to drop." I go, "Lando's going to get Lando essentially got the short end of the stick," is what happened.
Do you think it's because people are riding the Mando hype train or the Boba hype train? That's why they'd rather get that than Lando?
No, I think a lot of them started clutching their pearls and started panicking is what happened, because things were starting to drop and ship and you didn't know what was going on. Remember there was that one period where the the Death Watch Mandalorian, when it dropped in Hong Kong, and then that same week I was getting a notification from Sideshow, you know, that they were ready to ship. I mean, remember that's when they had just started doing the whole, we're going to announce it in Hong Kong and then ship in the US like very fast. Like collectors weren't ready for that. They weren't. I mean, I'm still not like adjusting to that.
Yeah,
that's very,
Joe Mama says
yeah.
you could add 6 Hulkbusters.
Oh, thank you. Can you add? You can add up to. Can you really? Mysterio. Now I did do it to Mysterio. He's going to sell it pretty soon. You can only add like 1 or 2 Mysterio, so he's on the short end of the stick. So if you don't have a Mysterio, he will. I'll predict when Mysterio is going to sell out. When Hot Toys announces more characters from the Spider-Man No Way Home, that's when he's going to. That's when he'll. Because when you go to Mysterio and you try to add more than 1, you're at 3. And I remember in September you can add up to 6 of them. So his batch is starting to dwindle compared to the others. He's getting there. Mysterio's getting there.
Well, thanks for the trick, Denobi.
Yeah. And you can, again, this works for Star Wars. So like the armor, you know, the armor was supposed to be a limited batch, and everybody was going gaga for the armor for the Mandalorian, and she released in August, for crying out loud. There's no Hot Toys armor. Oh, did I not? Oh, I didn't add Star Wars, did I? Oh, right here, the armor. So how many of the armors can you add?
I think someone did it. I think it's 3, but
is it 3? Oh, did someone already do it? Oh, sorry. So you can add 3. So she's starting to dwindle. Yeah. So it's a great, folks. It's a great trick. If you're ever curious to know what stuff, I do this all the time because I need to know what I need to, because I didn't pre-order any of this stuff, right? I'm looking for the best deal. What is going to sell out? What I don't want to look back. I don't want to I don't want to stress over a figure that I could have gotten at retail but sells out. For most Star Wars that's sitting in stock right now, it's 3 quantity and above. That tells me I'm okay. Hey, Denobi, you don't have to worry about it. You know, the stuff is going to sit here for quite a while. Like with the deluxe Mandalorian, you can get 6. You can do 6 of the Mandalorian. Did you know that? That the first batch? Well, of course. Nobody wants the first deluxe Mandalorian. Not when that shiny chrome with the Pedro Pascal head is going to be coming out. So, I mean, the whole announcement of the deluxe Pedro Pascal version, it killed. I mean, that same week, it killed it. It just devastated the regular deluxe, and I mean, to the point that everybody on streams were like nobody wants to have the poor cousin in their collection, you know.
Well, trust me. I mean, I was pretty bitter about it. Like I was like, wow, this is like
this one right here.
Yeah.
This one right here, the one right here, that's the first one. And I mean, look at this, PJ. They're adding free shipping.
Oh, they need to do more than that.
They're doing free shipping, and you can get up to 6.
I'm sure if there's a max of 10, it'll probably let you hit 10.
It'll probably let you do it. And so you see now where I was. Oh, did I refer? You see now where I was in the beginning of 2021. Like I was telling everybody, don't day one pre-order, because I do want the Star Wars Hot Toys, certain character. I do want this line to succeed. I really, honestly, genuinely do. But if we in the U.S., maybe around the world too, if we don't step up to the plate and bat, and we punk out, and we don't swing, and we don't charge, then it sends this signal that nobody wants Star Wars. So when I listen to streamers from other channels, and they're spending 2 hours, PJ, I think you're guilty of this too, but it's okay. They spend 2 hours fantasizing and creating wish lists.
Of Han
Solo, I know,
it's not me, because I haven't really streamed that much.
Han Solo Bespin. Why would you think Hot Toys would make a Bespin Han Solo when
they can't sell Bespin Lando?
We can't even sell Lando Calrissian. We can't even stuff is starting to cite that's this dead stock. It sends a signal back to Hot Toys. So you know what Hot Toys is going to make? Well, we're going to make President Loki now. We're going to make Sylvie now. We're going to do this. Or worst case scenario, let's go back to the Dark Knight. Oh shoot. Go back to the Dark Knight.
You say the Dark Knight. I was going to say, well, let's go back to what we know, what we do best, and that's make more Iron Man figures.
There you go. There you go.
And that's one thing too.
There you go. Good point. There you go. You get 10 points for that. You want your 10 points, but that's actually a good point, because you know what? You get 10 points for that, PJ, because you're right. Because if the collectors aren't coming up to bat, then they're going to go to what sells. And it's funny how we all joke about it. Oh, another Iron Man figure. Shut the F up. Iron Man is what's being purchased. So I don't listen to comments like that. I ignore comments like that. Oh, they're making another Iron Man figure. Well, you know what? Iron Man fans and collectors are the ones that are stepping up to the plate. Star Wars fans, I don't get it. Why is IG-11 still ready?
Oh my God! Don't get me started with that one.
Why? I mean, to me, a masterpiece is the Scout Trooper and Speeder bike. You own it. You did a review. I mean, several people. I mean, to me, that's a piece. Most collectors just tapped out of it or made an excuse. Or what was the excuse? I'm going to wait for the Endor bike.
Endor one, yep. Which is actually more money.
Yeah, the Endor bike was the common reason. So, IG-11, a phenomenal figure. Phenomenal figure.
That's probably one of Hot Toys' best Star Wars figures made. Because a lot of it, there's some die-cast material to that figure.
Yes. Yeah, I was very impressed. Very impressed.
And that's the one thing too, right? Like, I know you mentioned me, but I really haven't streamed like that in a while. But there is like now.
No, but you're right. You haven't in a while. Go ahead.
I know. Well, I stream on Wednesday. But
actually, to give you credit, you and Optical did a complete 180 by October. Once the shit started at the fan, you and Optical were like, yeah, we're not playing this crap anymore.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things. Like, it comes with, I don't know, like when you're a seasoned collector, I guess you could say. Like if you've been in the game, like you and Optical have been in the game longer than I have, right? I mean, I've been in the game for 6 years, 7 years, but
You're a veteran. Anything above like but
4 or
past
5.
28, you're fine. Yeah, you and Easy and so forth. And yeah, you're
But
you're veteran enough to know the cycles, the
yeah.
weather patterns and stuff like that. Yes.
But one thing I appreciate, like, Optical Stream and your stream too, is that like you guys are real. Like you are not trying to just be like super duper positive and be like, oh yeah, buy. Oh, you no, okay, that's great for you to buy everything. That's great on you if you got the money. But how about us average collectors that could maybe buy the most like 10 figures a year, you know, let alone 10 figures in 3 months when all these figures are dropping.
It should have been. So when I started collecting, if you got between 12 and 15 a year, that was a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
But as far as pre-orders and releases and so forth, now on just the pre-order alone, it was 74 if you factor in. So because I have 40 right now on my Storm Tracker, I have 40 right on, or 39 or 38, including the ones that haven't shipped from the US. And then you add in the Marvel and the DC, and then the one-offs. We still have Johnny Silverhand. We have the Batman and Robin from Batman Forever. There's quite a few. It's close to 70 or 72, I think was the last count. Someone had posted the count on Reddit. That's almost that's a lot, BJ.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. And then but the count does include Pennywise and the Mark 85 and so forth. But still, that's a lot of figures on top of the stuff that others tend to collect. Is I'd like to collect things outside of Hot Toys. I love Hot Toys, but I do collect other pieces. And I told you I'm making payments on some statues, and I know you are too. And
Yeah.
we have other stuff too. We have some stuff that are in the pipeline that we're working on too. But we also don't want to miss the actual love and support for Hot Toys. Well,
For Hot Toys,
Star
yeah.
Wars, for Star Wars Hot Toys.
Yeah, exactly. And I just think that, the one thing I like, why I love streaming with you and streaming with Nate too, like, even though, Nate is very, he's happy go lucky and stuff like that, but he's having fun with the streams and stuff. But there's a lot of, people out there that are just like, trying to paint this picture that you can afford all these figures.
Yeah.
But you can't. You really absolutely cannot afford all these figures. And it's like you said, it's so easy to hit the pre-order button and say, oh, I got this and I got that, I got this.
Yeah.
Oh, can't wait for this again. But then when they start coming in droves, you're like, oh,
yep.
I gotta
and
get
then it starts coming in droves, and then people start making tap out excuses. Oh, the head sculpt looks like crap. I'm like, really?
Yeah. And you're like, wait a minute, what?
Really? Like what what's going on? Is it really crap, or you just there's nothing wrong with it.
There's too many shore troopers. I only need or there's too many Boba Fetts. I only need one. Like, why'd you pre-order 3 then?
Yeah.
It's like,
well, that's right. The end of 2020, the whole troop building craze fad was going on. Remember that?
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm gonna troop build 501st troopers.
Yeah, no.
15, 20, 30 of them. You're like, what?
Yeah. Well,
are you sure?
Yeah.
You're gonna buy more figures after that?
Well, and this is where I started, doing I started making a prediction. Like, I go, we're not going to get the complete Bad Batch, folks. You're just not going to.
Well, I'll make a bold prediction. We're definitely not going to get the Eternals team.
Well, I never expected. It was a big surprise that they even released Thena.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, is that she is Hollywood, royalty, like Johnny Depp, and she does sell. Angelina Jolie does sell, and
like Maleficent, right?
Like Maleficent, yes, Maleficent, brand new 600, yes, and I'm buying her. I don't ever plan on seeing Eternals. I'm buying her because I do not have an Angelina Jolie 1/6 scale figure in my collection.
What do you think
To
about the
me-
portrait?
Huh?
What do
I
you
think
think
the
about?
portrait looks fine. I honestly think the portrait looks fine. I really do. No butts around it. To me, it looks not pretty. I think it looks elegant and beautiful.
Mhm.
And listen to what I said. I want an Angelina Jolie licensed figure in my collection. She is Hollywood royalty. I
Mhm.
don't care about Eternals. To me, I'm never going to watch it. I do not care about it. What I want is Angelina Jolie, a licensed Angelina Jolie in my
Mhm.
collection. And
Do
as a
you have a
collector,
Maleficent or?
remember, and that's something that I was trying to say earlier in the in the stream where people were making fun of the Wonder Woman 84. That's perfectly fine. But I have a different set of eyes for different certain pieces that enters my collection.
Yeah,
And
and the thing too, and I
yeah,
totally agree with you on the Wonder Woman 84 is because okay, yeah, it's from prototype to production, it might have lost a little bit, but it's still the best. It's still the best Gal Gadot portrait you're gonna get. I don't think that new was it the regular outfit version from this movie is gonna top this portrait. I think they have sculpted hair, but that face looks atrocious in my
you
opinion.
really, to me, it looks like Angelina Jolie. It
Which
really,
one? The one with the sculpted hair?
yeah, that's the one you're referring to, right?
No, no, I'm talking about Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot.
Oh, the Wonder Woman Gal Gadot. Oh, I see. You don't think it lines up with the actual actress?
Oh, no, I like the golden armor version. I think that portrait looks good. But if you look at the regular suit version, like that portrait looks off.
Let's see here. You
There.
do you do understand why she's on waitlist, right? You see right there at the bottom of the screen, she's on waitlist. You know why she's on waitlist, right?
Why?
Huh?
Why?
Because everybody regretted either A, not picking up the Justice League, or B, selling their Justice League figure. Remember,
Oh
we're
no!
getting Cyborg. That's
Is
the
this the
only,
one from the Wonder Woman 84?
this is the one from the Wonder Woman 84. Look,
Can you click on the?
absolutely. Look,
It's
Wonder Woman.
waitlisted. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
they meant no, you're right.
Listen
I
to
was like,
the
what?
folks
Really?
watching my stream. Listen to me, and I'll teach you how to collect. It's not always about of the success of a film. I'm telling you that. I've been saying it all night. The Undiscovered Country, that's the name of this live stream. Going into 2022, we don't know what to expect. You cannot judge buying a Hot Toys figure based on the performance or the critical. You have to ask yourself, what is it that you intend on doing? And building the Justice League for most DC collectors is top friggin' priority.
Mhm.
If you're building it, because hey, I'll be the first one to admit, PJ, I've sold some figures with buyer's remorse that I'm still kicking myself over. I'm just so, and I know that in the Hot Toys collector community, because I've seen the comments, I've spoken to people, their biggest regret is either A, not picking up the Wonder Woman Justice League, or B, they had it and they sold it. And I think one comment was, I sold it below retail. She's worth a fortune now because of Cyborg, right? So that's the situation we're in now. Now, this Wonder Woman here, this 84, who gives a shit about what the movie did or not? But if you're building the Justice League, this one here will fit the bill 100%.
Yeah. I hope they change the portrait on her though.
I don't think there's anything wrong with the portrait. Is it because of sculpted hair?
No,
I love
I
this.
just think the portrait's a little off compared to the golden armor version. I'm not sure why they decided to go with two different portraits.
So let me ask you something.
Yeah.
I think the sculpt is fine on the head. I don't think there's anything wrong. Do you think collectors care if the sculpt is going to be good or not?
Well,
This is a somewhat definitive version of Wonder Woman in a similar. The actual outfit is slightly different than the Justice League, but make no mistake, she will fit the bill if you're building the Justice League. This is why the Ben Affleck Batmans from Justice League are worth a mint, because people know Cyborg is now coming. The Snyder Cut, I've seen it 4 times. I love that film. I've gone to the gym watching the Snyder Cut on my phone as I'm working out because I just enjoy. I enjoy the whole sequence.
That's a long gym workout, then.
It's just yeah. I just love it. The whole sequence of Flash at the end of the film, her being a badass, her killing people. Like, I loved it. I thought the Snyder Cut was phenomenal, and most people who watched it thought the same thing, and they're like, holy shit, I passed on Wonder Woman, Justice League, or I had it and I sold it. She will fit the bill.
So what you're trying to say is, if you get a chance to pre-order this, pre-order it, and then
if you can. I mean, she's in waitlist right now. I mean, there's I think the collector's edition is a waitlist. I think you can still jump on the regular one, is what it is. You can still jump on the regular one. But nonetheless, the collector is already on waitlist. That is usually a sign that when she drops in Hong Kong and she starts to ship from Sideshow, both versions of her will probably either go into waitlist or probably within 30 days or maybe a month or so, she's gone. She's sold out because most people thought, like you and several others in the comments, of Wonder Woman 84 being trash.
No, I mean, I thought the movie was trash, but I don't think the figure was.
Yeah.
Was,
you know.
I just think the figure.
You know who didn't think the movie was trash? Kids. My little daughter, 7 years old, she loved it. She watched it 3 freaking times. But it's, I mean, when it comes, I mean, that's action figures and dolls for her that I got. But for this, for us finicky diva hot toy collectors like us, we tend to require a little bit more. But I mean, I'm buying both. To me, the wings and this version, I'm getting them all because to me, she is a legacy character like Superman. Like, to me, Superman from Justice League, which sat for like a 2-year pre-order, didn't it? And it sold out the minute it started to ship. So,
yeah, and I was gonna say is that like so wait, there's 2 versions. One that's open wings, and one was closed.
Yes. Okay. There's a deluxe version of and then it's just the folded wings. I'm getting the deluxe version, which is I want that wingspan. Yeah.
So can you fold that wingspan or you can't?
No. Well, with the deluxe, they attach. So it's either open and closed, or you can get the regular version and it's just closed. I want both. I want her to be majestic. I want her to be a savior. I want her to come down and bless me. So I'm getting. I want to.
Well, Gal Gadot. I want her to bless
Gal
me.
Gadot. I want her to. All right. I guess
whatever it is, she can bless me. With her, whatever. No, but I think I think the portrait is, like I said, it looks great.
Yeah.
I think the rooted hair, which has always been a problem with Hot Toys figures from ever since I started collecting, right? It's like, oh, whatever they advertise, and then whenever you get from the box, out of the box, is that you still had to futz around with it to make it look pretty decent. That's always, I just don't understand why collectors were surprised. They're like, oh, look at the rooted hair.
I prefer both. It doesn't bother me. It's never bothered me. Now I do enjoy that the last Black Widow was sculpted hair, but it's never bothered me. It's to me, it's the whole presence. I don't just judge it by the hair. Like, if it's going to be rooted hair, all right, well, I'm going to judge the whole figure with rooted hair, and so forth. But you have 2 versions here, and the comment here from MB Dyson. Look, I mean, I talked about it with you, PJ. People regret either passing up on the Justice League or they sold it. That's for me in my Justice League. It was a weird situation because I never intended them to blow up in value. I bought them because the film was so critically panned. I knew, like, shoot, I better jump in on this. I'm never ever gonna see these characters ever again, and it could be a small batch. And by that point in time, I was somewhat educated on small batches. Like if a figure doesn't do well, and once it sells out, it blows up. Like I made the mistake with Hela. Hela was a learning mistake. Hela from Thor Ragnarok. I had always planned on getting her, and the minute she sold out, she blew up rapidly. Hela just took
she's a
off.
one-off.
She's such a one-off. They probably made a small batch. It probably took a loss on her, and it was just one of those situations that shoot.
Do you think this will be a one-off?
Which one?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a one-off. I think it's going to go up in value.
On which
at least
one?
to $500.
On the Wonder Woman 84?
Yeah.
When did she go on pre-order? Can someone? It depends on what year, because that makes the whole situation. Was it 2019 that she went on pre-order, or was it 2020? Because it's the and the reason I say that, why the year plays an important part, because in 2020 a lot of collectors started canceling pre-orders, so they could have limited the production of that specific vehicle. I mean, that's all we got is all we have is speculation. But I do know that my 2019 pre-orders, when I got them in, they were worth a fortune. I shared it on one of my live streams with Gamora. When I finally got my Gamora, my 2.5-year-old Gamora, when she arrived here in my home, she was already climbing the charts on the secondary market. I think I sold her for $430 on eBay. I didn't care for her. I didn't even hold on to her. I was so over the 2.5-year wait. As soon as she arrived, she was already valuable. I'm like, well, shoot, I don't care for her, so sell her. Same thing too for the Heavy Mandalorian. Heavy Mandalorian was a 2019 pre-order, and when it shipped, it was just a small batch. It wasn't, the whole Mandalorian hype train didn't really take off until 2020, when everybody was stuck at home watching it.
Suicide Squad Harley took off. The first one.
The video. Oh, that's right. The very first one, Suicide Squad. Yes.
Yeah, that one took off, and I think that one's worth like $450 now in the aftermarket. Yeah. I had that one and I sold it under retail.
Did you really? And it's worth.
Yeah, I didn't think it was gonna sell because it was like one of those
Even
where you could turn around and you could buy that from a local store for cheap too. So I was like, that's when I was refocusing everything to Star Wars, but then I should have just held on to it a little bit longer, because now it's worth like $450. Yeah, but this one, I think I like the portrait. I think the portrait is one of the best Gal Gadot portraits made by Hot Toys. I know some people weren't happy with this. I mean, you compare him from the prototype to the final, very, very minimal changes. And like I said, the rooted hair is probably like the biggest part of like the issue, but it's so you could fix that, maybe the blogger that took those pics didn't have time to fix the hair.
Well, that's the thing too. It's a blogger photo, but going back to Star Wars Hot Toys, everything, I mean, there's nothing near selling out other than Rey, which Rey from the Rise of Skywalker was a 2019 pre-order. So that I kind of knew was going to be a wait list or sellout. But the Kylo Ren too, I'm really shocked he's not sold out yet. Hot Toys.
Yeah, I'm surprised Kylo is not.
I'm surprised he's not in wait list right now. I really thought, because he was still somewhat the best thing from that film. Let me see, Kylo Ren. How many can you add on the card?
I just really think
he may be coming close. Oh no, there's a ton of Kylos. Look at that crap.
Yeah, I just really think that with Rey, I think there was a very small batch of Rey figures, just because that Rey, the Last Jedi Rey figure was sitting on Sideshow's website for a long time.
It sure was. I think the Mandalorian took off, and
And why do you think the Kylo Ren is in stock? Because the Last Jedi version of Kylo Ren sold out.
Oh, that's right.
Rey.
That's right. Oh, the child is also.
That proves your point, though.
Yeah.
Like whatever's happening in Sideshow's website is going to, you know, be a factor for Hot Toys moving forward in terms of their production. If these figures are not selling, if Shore Trooper is not selling, will they make another Shore Trooper for Andor?
I don't know.
Right?
That's a good question. I mean, I've always believed when it comes to Hot Toys, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. Sometimes waiting for something better can cost you more in the long run. All the time, collectors, I get people share that with me. The first DeLorean from Back to the Future. Oh, Denobi, I'll just wait for the hover converted DeLorean. And look what happened. Look what happened.
Yeah.
Look what happened. I would love it. Going back to the labor thing we talked about, maybe that's why Blitzway didn't announce it. Maybe they couldn't secure a factory. Maybe something labor related happened to Blitzway. They're typically pretty good. For them to have announced or teased that, that they were going to share Ghostbusters after, which is doing phenomenal in theaters, by the way. And the fact that they were going to announce it and yet they didn't just tells me that either they got spooked, chickened out, we got punked, or they couldn't secure production within a reasonable amount of time. I don't think Blitzway wants to go through another 2-year situation with the
Ecto one,
because the Ecto one was 2 years. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Yeah,
it was
a
a 2-year-old pre-order right at the height of that trashy Ghostbusters 2016, which greatly affected its performance in pre-orders, which now everybody wants one now because the people are, they really enjoy the afterlife. But that's the game. That's sometimes you have to anticipate a love. I know it's weird. You have to anticipate a love for a certain piece to not get burned down the road. Does that make sense? I mean, that's just crazy. It's so.
No, I agree. And I was going to say is that, like, for, like I said, for people that tell you to sell your Ecto one, no way.
Yeah.
No way. Unless you don't want to collect Ghostbusters, period, then sell it. Right. Or if you need the cash, sell it. But if you love Ghostbusters, dude, I don't even know if they're going to make another Ecto one. Like you said, like, are they really going to make another Ecto one after what they went through with the first one?
Yeah. Oh, here we go, PJ. Another comment that may shed some light to our Ghostbusters drama. So I didn't read this in the comments. A single songwriter says someone in the chat said Afterlife movie is not coming to Asia until February. That could very well be it. Yeah. They probably could be waiting for the Tentpole event. Yeah. So I didn't know that. I just assumed Afterlife was released worldwide.
Yeah.
But I do understand.
Same with the Spider-Man. I thought it was
same with the Spider-Man. Yeah. Too. So yeah, you know what? That could very well be the case where these films, are hindering the announcements to certain figures. So yeah, that does, to me, that makes perfect sense. You're not going to announce something where the audience hasn't fallen in love with the film. So they do need to fall in love with the film. Same thing for Spider-Man No Way Home. If it hasn't been released in Japan yet, yes, you kids out there in Japan, you do need to watch it, because once you see what everybody's been talking about, then you'll understand the demand for what characters you would love to collect into your collection.
Well,
but anyway,
I was going to say, you were right about the Proton Pack. I thought, I know we were talking about it, like the Proton Pack, the HasLab project. I should have bought 2.
How many did you get? 1 or 2?
I just got one. I had too many pre-orders, so I was only able to secure one. But as soon as it stopped, as soon as it hit 12, people on eBay were selling it for $2,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
$2,000.
And I shared this on several streams. I only knew the Proton Pack was going to be because I remember I wanted to become a Ghostbusters like a few years prior. And I remember that there was not a lot of options in owning a Proton Pack. It was either the Spirit Store Rubies for $150 that wasn't even, it had like crappy lights. It wasn't film accurate. It's the one that's sold in like the Halloween stores that pop up during Halloween season. It was crap for like $1.50. And then the other one was that one company that makes the helmets, Anovo. Anovos. Yes. So they made a high-end proton pack, which started at $3,500.
Yeah, I wanted one, and I saw the price.
Yeah. So the fact that Hasbro comes in and is offering a mid-level, an affordable mid-level proton pack, I knew it was cash. I knew it was gold. I'm like, oh my God, they're going to make a killing out of this. And I remember even going down the road, going down on Etsy. I don't know, the Etsy website.
Yeah.
If you search Ghostbusters proton pack, there's like a whole infrastructure, there's a whole community that sold parts, like 3D parts and kit bashes, all that, so to help you build a proton pack. And so I knew there was already a cosplay fan base community that supported this and how expensive it was. The most expensive part about a Ghostbusters is the proton pack with the wand. The costume, you can get it tailor-made on Etsy for $100. You can get someone you would send in your measurements and it would make it for you, depending on how much you're willing to spend. And I'm like, cool. I would love to be a ghost. So when I went down that path a few years ago, I'm like, this shit's expensive. So when they started doing that, I just knew, I just knew that it was just.
How did you secure a lot, or?
I backed 5. I backed 5 because my daughter loves Phoebe in the film, and she told me, she goes, "Daddy, will I be a Ghostbusters with you?" She made that very clear.
Yeah,
she's 7. She's 7 now, so she'll be 9 years old. She'll be closer to Phoebe's age when the proton packs, because it's not going to be next year's Halloween. It'll be the following year. So I'll get a costume made for her. I'll get my costume tailored, and then we can go out trick-or-treating as Ghostbusters. So you got to plan this crap in advance, So she made it very clear. She asked me, she goes, "I'm going to be a Ghostbusters too, Daddy." Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, you're sitting on a lot of money there, because
So
you know what? If people are paying $2,000 per proton pack, and you only paid how much was it again? 3 something, right?
It was $400.
$400, right?
And it didn't. And it comes with like, it hit all. I think it hit all. No, I missed one of the tiers. I think it missed one of the tiers.
Oh, it did.
I think
it hit all the tiers.
I don't think it did. Somebody can confirm it. I don't think it hit all the tiers. But like I said, regardless, I would have been, even if it didn't hit all the tiers, I'm like, oh my God, it's a cosplay piece, and even if they never do this again, which they may never, this particular unit will either hold its value or will be worth a fortune, because again, the Anovos was the only one that came close to a cosplay standard. This one here, I think, will fit the job and let most cosplayers become a Ghostbusters affordably. And when I mean affordably, I mean under $1,000, and that's impressive. To become to dress as a Ghostbusters for under $1,000 is pretty damn good.
Well,
okay.
And that's one thing with real quick. Just one thing with HasLab projects, they always double in price, man. Including the Razor Crest. It's supposed to ship out pretty soon. So.
Oh, did you back the Razor Crest?
Yeah.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, that's going to be another.
It hit all the tiers.
It hit all the tiers and then some. Yeah, it hit all the tiers. Doc Smizzle, I backed 2 and it hit all the. It did hit all. Maybe it did. Okay. Yeah. P-Rockzilla, congrats to all the fans for getting that. Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be good. It should be really good. I look forward to it. And the Razor Crest is going to be an impressive piece too.
Should be. You backed it up, right?
Oh yeah. I backed a few of those.
When's it supposed to ship? I thought we're supposed to get it this week or
first quarter. It got pushed because of the whole pandemic. So it was pushed, and they did send updates on that too as well too. So first quarter of next year, hopefully. So yeah. But anyway, we're
All right.
approaching 3 hours.
Well, yeah,
And,
that was fun,
it was
Denobi. I'm sorry, I'm not in front of my computer.
No, that's okay. That's
Um,
that's fine. You provided enough of a good a soundboard here, so
Yeah.
this is good.
Well,
This is
can you
good.
zoom in
And
on me? Do you see my my avatar?
yes, it is Ant-Man from Pennywise, which I
Yeah,
think is hilarious.
I think Jingle Bell Photography did this, and I
Yeah,
was like, yeah, I have
yeah.
to screenshot that. But yeah, but Denobi, thank you again for having me on the show. It was a lot of fun. I enjoy your streams because seriously, it is very factual, very knowledgeable, and a lot of collectors will benefit from the things that
I you know
everything you have said has always come true.
I tried to, I tried to, I try to do, the service, but I mean, here it is, this is the real truth right here.
In chess, the pawns go first.
Well, I'm one of the pawns now, but
That's it. That's it. They got to go out there and hit it, They got to go
Yeah.
out there and hit it. And then hopefully, Hot Toys will get their act together for 2022 because if not,
If this body is not capable of action, I suggest new leadership is needed.
yep.
I love these sound bites, man.
I try to. Before do you have any goodbyes? You want to plug anything?
No, actually, just my, I've been getting back to reviewing stuff, getting back to the swing of things, which is great. I have some stuff that I've been cooking up, like some old reviews, so try and catch up on that. But yeah, no, I think I should be getting my XM Studios Revan and Malik next week or so.
Oh.
So that reviewing that, and just like every Wednesday, I do my Sitcast podcast with the guys. So
Yeah, I tried to get them. I reached out to Will Fox on Vacation and Optical, but they were too busy playing Call of Duty. So
oh,
they're
always playing Call of Duty.
they were playing Call of Duty, and it just so happens that when I joined their stream, they were talking about C3PO and me. They were mentioning the one comment I said that the reason why a theory that Hot Toys may not do a C3PO because it has to be top notch, and it's probably going to command a $400 price. And then how many Hot Toys Star Wars collectors are going to bat $380 or whatever for a diecast C3PO figure? Because
I think a lot. I mean, I know
love to
they
believe
may
that.
not bat to Lando, but they'll definitely bat to C3PO.
I would love to. I want to believe that. I really do. And the problem is that if Fennec Shan is commanding $300, then you know very well a diecast C3PO will probably be around the rescue suit's price, maybe for
500,
410. No, I don't think it'll be. I don't think it'll be that much, but it's definitely going to be in the 400.
Yeah.
It'll be in the 400 because again, Fennec Shannon's already at $300, and so a diecast C3PO, because you wouldn't need a lot of articulation. He doesn't move that much. It's a cumbersome suit. So I would say it would be in the 400s, maybe 410. And I want to believe that the Hot Toy Star Wars collectors out there would support him, but I have my doubts when they won't even support Lando. So
yeah,
it's what it
that's
is.
true. I just need a C3PO just to rest his hand on top of R2D2's dome. That's it. And diecast. I mean, Tamashii Nation did it. Hopefully, Hot Toys does it in the future. So
yeah.
But
good night, everybody. Good night.
Good night. Thank you again.
Thank you so much for joining.
All right. Thank you. Good night, Denobi. Bye.
Bye-bye.